Hello and welcome back to my channel What If Deku 2.0. Join us as we delve into the realms of fanfiction and fantasy, bringing you the best stories and discussions. Today we're kicking off part 15 of our series, What If Deku Became the Villain Emperor? If you enjoy this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more content in the future. The author of this story is DekuVerse from Archive of Our Own. All the relevant links are in the description. Feel free to say hello to the author on their profile. Now let's dive into the fanfic. The Creature Rejection clan was a hate group that started growing in numbers relatively recently, although it existed for a long time. It saw the mutation quirks, especially the complex ones, so Miruko's more than ingeniums, as intrinsically evil and dangerous and impure and all that bullcrap. In Deku Shigaraki's humble opinion, you could copy-paste a manifestation of any past hate group and just exchange whatever they hated with complex mutation quirks and it would easily summarize the CRC up pretty well. A bit of a cruel irony, but the CRC was right from a biological point of view, at least once Maria took over. Earlier CRC hated everyone diverging from pure human form, but post-Maria they only had an issue with complex mutations. So people like Miruko, Gang Orca, Spinner, Tsuyu Ajui or Mina Ashido. Those mutations worked significantly differently than normal quirks, even normal mutant quirks, like ingeniums, typically offering a wider array of abilities. They were also absolutely dominant in terms of genetics and inheritance. Speaking about it in a more simple terms, Miruko's children would be rabbit people just like her. And so her grandchildren. And grandchildren. Regardless of who their other parents were. Complex mutant quirks typically overrode other quirks entirely when it came to inheritance. It was a proved fact and a quirk nerd like Deku could vouch for it. As a result, if Miruko and her descendants were allowed to exist, then in a few centuries there was going to be a significant group of rabbit people living in Japan, potentially making standard humans into merely one of subspecies of generalized mankind. So yes, from the biological point of view, the existence of such quirks was a danger to humanity as it was understood presently. Unfortunately for the CRC, Melissa Shield, League of Villains and most normal people in Japan didn't consider having rabbit, frog, alien, orca or lizard people in the society as a problem. At least until they joined the mirror opposite of the CRC, the Inhuman Supremacy Party. Because honestly, then they became idiots just like those that discriminated against them. Stain wanted to charge in and simply slaughter everyone inside, but Melissa advised caution. She turned out to be right. The small hideout of the Creature Rejection clan was not as small as they originally suspected. Japan as a whole was still blissfully unaware of the exact workings of Vampire's quirk. It was a child's play for Hypnos and a twice clone of Toga to tag a CRC member, mug him in an alleyway and, when he was unconscious, for Toga to drink some of his blood. And while wearing him as a disguise, she sneaked into the hideout and then returned with a report that surprised Melissa. They expected 20 to 30 CRC members and 2 turncoat heroes. They got about 170 CRC members, no less than 8 turncoat heroes and some torture dungeon/experimentation lab. Plus Joseph, one of the Maria's main lieutenants and a dangerous villain in the top 10 villain rankings. Stain's interest in randomly charging and murdering people has cooled down after it, replaced with an interest in creating a plan on how to charge and murder people while being smart about it. Good thing Deku made her the leader. Or else they would have been in quite the trouble. She still believes they would have still pulled through but unwanted injuries. Okay, so a quick question before we start. Melissa announced right before they started strategizing. Everyone was gathered around the 3D model of the building printed by her and used as a map. Is there anyone here who is yet to kill someone? Gentle and La Brava. Well, no big deal. No need for them to kill. Why do you ask? Kota gets curious. The fact he was a killer was still disturbing. Mahoro and Katsuma too, but they weren't as enthusiastic as their brother. Because I have a very short patience when it comes to hate groups, Melissa replied. Plus the Team Terror is known for their barely bloody raids that I really think we should make it very bloody for once. We might be following a set of rules, but we should still be feared. Melissa sighed. She made her decision when she fought the MLA and heard Mightless' backstory. She wants to be a great villain. One that could stand with Deku proudly. And it wasn't like she was going to attack random people. Irredeemable bastards were all right to her. So, we go in and kill something like 170 people? Mahoro asked for clarification. She looked surprised but OT against it. Yes. Melissa responded calmly. And the hostages? Katsuma asked. Rescued obviously. We are Deku's League of Villains. Helping those in need is a must. Melissa said like it was the most obvious thing in the world. Stain laughed menacingly. Kota followed soon after. They were just too much alike. The CRC was a group with religious trappings. Izuku personally had no idea why that happened. The surface level of their base had a large hall resembling a church. Many pews. Candles. Altar for some crazed preacher to mumble about how all inhumans were evil. They had gatherings once or twice a day. Disgusting. Himiko stalked the building earlier, getting the coordinate readings for various locations throughout the complex for Kurogiri to easily warp to and from. She noted down the approximate combat strength of the villains, and it was trashy to say the least, but numbers were a form of power too, so better not get cocky. The turncoat heroes and one or two heavy hitters of the CRC tended to spend time on the second level of the building, where Joseph had his office. There was an underground section, divided between the barracks and the prison. The former was protected by something like 20 cultists on the level of proficient thuggery, armed with a variety of weapons, mostly melee things. With all CRC members typically wearing various forms of body-covering robes, sneaking in was a child's play once you had someone make you a map. Plus Deku had now some type of foresight quirk, so he told them how it will go, and they decided to change whatever they didn't like in the plan. Besides, Echidna only had to get to the main hall during one of those Christian mass parodies that CRC indulged in so often. And with Gentle making a gigantic elastic barrier, deaths would be unbelievable. The little girl was giddy to make her daddy proud. It was as cute as it was creepy. But no one will tell her that to her face. So, ready to finally unleash your might, Echidna? La Brava asked the monster child as the hacker was in a van outside holding her laptop ready to lock the place with their own security systems. Their defenses were going to trap them. Ironic. La Brava can't see it through the earpiece, but she knows that Mahoro is grinning maniacally under her robe. Of course, time to show these monsters what a real monster is like. Echidna giggled to herself darkly. The girl is standing right behind the sea of pews, filled to the brim with people who are very busy venerating their own acts of petty hatred against the complex mutant quirk holders. Shield maiden to all. Melissa is in her position. She switches to another channel. Phase 1 in 20 seconds. The CRC is going down hard. Chances that Phase 2 will be needed are minimal. 19 seconds later, Echidna makes a step forward. A Deku clone appears outside the church and touches the building. Within seconds the building warps and changes. Deku controls all details of the building. The pews and the altar are suddenly surrounded by thick stone walls. Echidna is locked inside with close to 100 clan members. Or to be exact, they are locked there with her. Everyone screams in shock and worry as a large snake appears out of nowhere. On the top of its head, the brown-haired girl is standing there with a dark, malicious, bloodthirsty Cheshire grin filled with evil. She looked the complete opposite of her usually cheerful and innocent self as she spread her arms and laughed heavily. Ahahaha. You fools. Your sins has caught up to you. For I, the monster empress of monsters Echidna, has come to send you to the dark pits of hell. Time for justice, you bastards. Mahoro declared proudly while activating her quirks. She feels her vitality draining, but her will overpowered the side effects and let her recharge. She cackled hysterical as gases and lights start appearing and mixed in the air, large snakes with scales and multiple heads, tigers with wings and flaming heads, gorillas with multiple arms breathing fire, demonic-like bird creatures and all things that would mistaken from demonic hell creatures appear around the cultists. Come on, children. Finish your food and make Mama proud. After all, I brought very delicious people to feast upon. And you know that the bad guys taste yummy? Echidna declared to her children as the beasts roared in unison. The cultists screamed, but as was fruitless. They tried to fight, but it wasn't anything resembling it. It was a feast. Echidna scored 102 kills after only 1 minute. Her beasts were relentless and infinitely hungry. And she was still capable of combat, so she still did the dirty work with her hands too. The traitor heroes are chatting happily together with two tougher-looking CRC regulars a level above. One of them is telling the others an amusing story of how he left a mutant quirked girl to die in a house fire, and how hilarious the shock and fear on her face was when she realized that he isn't going to save her. They hear screams coming from downstairs. They grab their weapons and support items. That's when Kota walks in. He is in front of all of them after getting into the room in his child form. His hat covering his eyes. He heard it all? Oh, he heard it all. And he didn't like it. He didn't like. They recognize him, of course. Their movements pause. One of them is braver than most. He will be the one to survive the longest, oddly enough. Boy, you are surrounded. One shouts. Surrender and we won't hurt you. Another added. Kota just cackled at that. As he looked at them after pulling up his hat. revealing the craziest, most malice and malevolence-filled eyes that no child should have. "All I'm surrounded by is fear," Kota replied. His maniacal smile made two nearest heroes take a step back in terror. "And dead fakes." Kota cocked his arm back and called his quirks to attack. The heroes tensed. Wave, Sub-Zero water gun. A powerful blast of water as wide as a hand that expanded the more it traveled shot out from the boy's hand at speeds that normal humans couldn't dream of reacting to. The cold water hit the fakes and put them in a state of shock. The boy walked to the twitching, shivering fakes with his face being shadowed by his hat, his eyes glinting with malice and rage. As walked forward, sludge started covering his body, transforming him. The Nomu cracked his knuckles as he looked down at the fakes. "Let's see how much I can make you scream before I am bored," Poseidon said as he cracked his arm back. 4 minutes and 12 seconds of screaming later, Poseidon is warped back to the base with his clothes soaked in blood. The corpses were unrecognized by the police. They needed a DNA test to identify them, and even then it took a while with how little blood there was. Their bodies were more water than blood. When the alarm rings, Gentle moves instantly. The nearest torturer, he won't call them jailers, they don't deserve that courtesy, gets slammed into a nearby wall from the elastic floor before he can react. When the remaining ones gather in front of him, Kurogiri warped Spinner behind their backs, in his green rabbit hoodie and the katana Deku gifted him, the boss katana that he no longer used after getting a blade quirk. Spinner cherished the gift and will honor it. With the blood of these monsters, Kurogiri doesn't warp out. The two of them slaughter 7 people in the next minute, while Gentle, who doesn't like killing, opens the cages up and have Kurogiri warp the captives. 9 people with complex mutant quirks kidnapped from the streets, out of the building. "Tell me, why exactly did I get roped into that?" Hypnosis commented into his earpiece before opening fire again. One of the clan thugs that failed to reach safety in time falls to the ground bleeding from several gunshots. "I should be smarter than this." He was hiding behind a set of overturned tables in the local barracks. The resistance is bigger than Shield Maiden estimated. It appears that one of the heavy hitters was visiting the barracks when the attack started. Just bad luck. The rest of the hall is a mess. Parts of human bodies littered the floor, part of the place is shred by gunfire. He jumped into the side before using a fiber control quirk the boss gifted him to strangle 3 men. Then he shot them dead. A man in the distance was charging what seemed to be an electrical quirk. "Nope, sorry buddy, but not your day." Hypnosis' eyes glowed red as he activated Erasure, his idol's quirk. The electric quirk of the whatever dude stopped working. A headshot sent the guy to meet the rest of his friends. Not that Hypnosis felt bad for him. They chose to be idiots, not his fault. A giant charges at him, or is he? Eyes glow red again and the giant shrinks to the size of a normal person. He is only startled momentarily before he got a bullet in his head, killing him instantly. "Hey, don't ask me, boss said to come here." La Brava replied from the earpiece. Hypnosis sighed and threw a firebomb behind what appears to be a bar. Judging from screams and a burning figures emerging from behind said bar, his throw was an accurate one. The alcohol burns well. Way too well. Hypnosis kept shooting bullets at the CRC's giant that's approaching them, hidden behind 2 metal tower shields. He is followed by several thugs that survived the initial assault. The shield is countering the bullets well. Too well in the boy's opinion. F this, Hypnosis decided that it's time for a change in tactic. "Hey big guy. How much did the mutants pay your mother for a night? Is that still an option? Asking for a friend? What did you?" The shield bearer freezes. Thugs behind him are confused. Hypnosis let out a chuckle at that. "Stop hiding behind your shields." The rain of gunfire and grenades cuts down the shield bearer and the thugs in a few seconds. Especially that their quirks were nullified. Joseph heard the alarm and screams of his men, so he ran out of his office. He is a particularly normal-looking human being. He prides himself on being able to keep a low profile and stay under the radar. Useful feats for an S-rank villain responsible for dozens of hate crimes. Especially by someone whose quirk allows him to absorb the moral of his people and turn it to physical strength. He gathered up now around 40% of all might. That makes him strong. Very strong. And he will use that strength to crush whoever is causing a mess in his home. He sees one of the attackers right outside of his office. He was about to attack when he realizes it's a kid. He recognized the kid. Short brown hair and eyes, blue overalls and sandals with a small bag that has the Edge-shot keychain. Katsuma Shigaraki. Villain named Titan. Adopted son of Deku Shigaraki and one of the 3 youngest villains in history to reach the A rank in the whole world. Ironically, the others to achieve the same feat are only his adopted siblings. I will say this once, politely. On your knees and let me tie you up. Or I will kill you. Titan said darkly as he gripped the chair by his side tightly. So tightly his knuckles turned white and the metal handle twisted in place. Joseph knew that this boy was extremely strong for his age. Better not underestimate such a young A-ranker, possibly an S-ranker in disguise. How about you give up, child? I can offer you a place where you don't have to live with that white-haired demon. The son that created so many inhumane abominations that would displease God. Joseph offered as he activated his quirk. His figure doubled in size. His quirk was an overall enhancement with a small transformation component to it. If the kid attacked, he would do so too. He wasn't above killing kids. Especially ones that dangerous. What did you say about my father and grandmother, you scum? The kid's expression turned from slightly bothered and uncomfortable to cold and murderous. His eyes turned dead and soulless. More empty than any child should ever be. The villain wondered for a second why a kid would look so broken mentally before the chair was instantly thrown at him. His speed let him dodge it, but the chair broke through the wall of the office and traveled forward. The impact created a gust of wind that would impress the number one hero. The hell? That was like 65% of all might. Oh. It shouldn't be possible for a child to have this much power. All right, your funeral. Joseph charged and slammed his fist on the short boy. There was a huge gust of wind and dust. As it cleared, it revealed the boy with the fist on top of his head, and the boy was, to say the least, unimpressed. This is the power of an S-ranked villain? That was pathetic. Titan was very unimpressed. This man hurt people, killed innocent people. Insulted his beloved father and grandmother. Titan will have no regrets for this. The boy gripped the arm of the man with his hand tightly. The grip of the boy's hand was strong enough to rip the arm cleanly off. Joseph had only 2 seconds to scream before the boy jumped into face level of the man with his arm cocked back. Said arm was slightly more muscular with veins bulging out slightly. When you get to hell, tell them to make a room for more, Katsuma said as he threw a right hook. Before Joseph could do anything, his head is pulverized by a punch that would have made All Might proud. The shockwave was strong enough to destroy the faraway walls and crack the floor, strong enough that it was easily a Texas smash. Shield Maiden warped in front of the church with Stain, and Nagant was in the top of the church, right next to the bell. Melissa sees it. 20 heroes allied with the dead idiots inside running into the church quickly. Idiots, they were running to their deaths. They stopped for a second, startled seeing 2 SS rankers in the flesh waiting for them. The one in the back tried to turn and run until something crashed behind them, destroying the floor and kicking a cloud of dust. The fakes coughed slightly, and once the dust settled it revealed Shield Maiden standing behind them with Stain in front of them. You think you can intimidate us? We are more than you in numbers. As heroes we won't lose to criminals like you. One of the heroes yelled. But he was obviously terrified. Oddly enough, he was the one to survive the longest. Heroes? Where? Shield Maiden titles her head in confusion. Yes, I only see 20 or so dead fakes, honestly. Stain said with a scoff as he unsheathed his katana and gripped it tightly. A hero tries to touch the floor to activate his quirk, he gets a quick bullet into the face for his troubles. Shield Maiden and Stain charge in at the fakes. The fakes yelled battle cries and split on 2 groups. 1 minute and 12 seconds later, the place ID littered with body parts and blood. It wasn't a fight, it was a harvest. Cheers? The league members cheered loudly in unison as they raised their beer mugs for, in the kid's case, milkshakes in the air. With Deku only having some coffee. He was dead set on being a role model for his children, and nothing would let him change his mind. Kurogiri was happy to serve everyone the drinks they desired. He honestly loved his job and quite enjoyed it a lot. And then I said, stop hiding behind your shield, then shot him dead along with others and burned him with the grenades. Shindu grinned while talking with Mustard before looking at Melissa. Thanks for those, by the way, Chief. Shinso called out to the scientist, who gave a thumbs up. No problem, Shin. It's my job. Melissa said with a drunk blush on her cheeks. And then I let my monsters on them. They screamed, but they didn't last for long. I got rid of 100 monsters in less than 5 minutes with my adorable babies. Mahoro said, excited as she described in detail her mission to her daddy. Deku was listening to his daughter with a smile, but the league members noticed him twitch every time she said babies. It was hilarious. So you vaporized an S ranked with a punch? Badass bro, badass. Kota said while patting Katsuma on the back. If we keep this up we will be close dad's rank in no time. So try you hardest, okay? The boy smiled at his brother's encouragement and nodded. Yes, he was a monster. He hurt a lot of innocents and even spiked badly about father and grandmother, so I don't regret it in the slightest. Katsuma admitted as he drank his milkshake. So, first kills? How do you feel? Tamura asked Melissa, who shrugged. I did kill those idiots in the MLA, so this is my second time. Plus they were idiots, so why feel bad for it? Would you feel bad for ripping Redestro in half? Melissa asked rhetorically. They got a united F that guide from everyone. Deku didn't even feel like scolding his kids on the language because it was true. And then Mustard trapped them in dome of his gas. He used gas manipulation to make the outside of his cyclone solid and let them suffocate. It was funny how they kept trying to break out of his edges to no avail. Dabi said as he sipped his mug while speaking with Stain and Nagant. Huh. It seems like a lot of us are going to move up in the ranks after this. Nagant mused as she looked at Toga and Melissa laughing together. That's the plan, Kana-san. Deku smirked. As he leader of your villainous organization, it is my duty to turn you all into fearsome powerful villain MS with skill, power, morals and end goals as well as some personal creed. And most importantly, make you the best villains you could be. Seeing you my friends moving in he ranks is a victory to me, Deku declared loudly with a smile. Cheers to our king. Twice declared. Cheers. The League members declared proudly. Deku smiled at that. It was nice to be loved. The list of Japanese supervillains updated after the League of Villains raids. Sis rank. Karma from the League of Villains rank 1. Redestro from the Meta Liberation Army rank 2. Maria from the Creature Rejection Clan rank 3. Mightless from the Quirkless Liberation Front ranks 3. Beast from the Inhuman Supremacy Party rank 4. Wolfram from the East Asia Mercenaries rank 4. Sis rank. Reaper from the League of Villains rank 5. Shield Maiden from the League of Villains rank 5. Lady Nagant from the League of Villains rank 6. The Hero Killer Stain from the League of Villains rank 6. Dabi from the League of Villains rank 7. Turn Flecked from the Human Rise rank 8. Srank. Twice from the League of Villains rank 8. Echidna from the League of Villains rank 8. Titan from the League of Villains rank 8. Posidone from the League of Villains rank 8. Mustard from the League of Villains rank 9. Gui-Ten from the Meta Liberation Army rank 9. Slide and Go from the Meta Liberation Army rank 9. Hunter from the Quirkless Liberation Front rank 10. Tiger Claw from the Inhumane Supremacy Party rank 11. Kurogiri from the League of Villains rank 11. Mr. Compress from the League of Villains rank 11. The Udatta War Council. Lie detector. Hello everyone. Sorry for the interruption, but this is important. Lie detector. The League committed mass murder. The brain? Oh dear. Need nap shit. Super punch. God damn it. I mind, that's not good. I spy, how bad? Lie detector. 2 locations. No survivors. 363 people died in this mass murder. The brain? Oh dear. Need nap. 2 locations? Like 2 targets in a day? That's ambitious. High mind? And that amount of murders is horrifying. But far less than the previous times. That's an improvement. Super punch. Small victories, I guess. I spy, who were attacked? Lie detector, ISP and CRC. Need nap. Of course a major hero fan like Karma would destroy such despicable idiots. Need nap. He doesn't like villains without a true cause because being idiots isn't a cause. That's why Karma is merciful with QLF. I spy, because they have a stand and moral grounds, and since they increased their standards I can almost be sure Karma is a friend to them now. High mind, I personally sympathize with Mightless on just the quirkless dead child. It's horrible. Super punch. Don't remind me, I will USF smash that Pinocchio even if I go to jail for it. The brain. No need for that, we just let Carla get him first. He will inflict the worst possible fates on him that we might feel bad. Need nap, not me, that's for sure. I spy. Back on the subject, the attacks? Did Karma attack them one after another? Lie detector. That's the problem? Lie detector. Karma wasn't present. This is the League of Villains' handiwork without their leader. The brain? Oh dear. I spy, so now they learn to operate on their own? Lie detector. Yes, some camera footage we were able to recover seems to imply that the League is split into 2 teams. Need nap, 2 teams? The brain, interesting. Lie detector. Vanguard Action Squad led by one Reaper who seemed in the footage more than happy to cackle into a megaphone while his team did he killing. I spy what? Need nap, way out of character there. Lie detector. While yelling give us the sweet EXP you idiotish trashed with a terrifying smile. Super punch. I regret getting that detail. I spy. Let's start with the ISP. How many victims? Lie detector. We thus far counted 112 corpses, but we suspect that there might be more scattered through the woods. We have some camera footage from the plantation that ISP used as a cover. Lie detector. Reaper isn't the only one member of the League with way more dangerous quirks than we previously anticipated. Need nap. What? I spy. Elaborate please. Lie detector. The majority of the ISP casualties came from Mustard covering about 10 square miles of forest with his poison gas, while partyists were in the middle of training in it. The brain? Oh dear. Lie detector. One single survivor said that it was like a mini cyclone made of poison mist. With Mustard in the middle of it, he made it in the edges solid so it was a dome trapping them in place. The survivor hid underground. Lie detector. It is possible that said cyclone was capable of moving for as long as Mustard was. I spy so an S rank. And that's putting it lightly. SS rank material with some development, no doubt. And that's his main quirk. Karma might have given him more. Lie detector, certainly. Bad news is that the poison density doesn't seem to decrease with range, so running to the edges wouldn't matter. Super punch. Mustard's potential for large-scale battles is clearly immense and terrifying. He can cover the entire battlefield in poison without having to expose himself to danger. High mind? And everyone willing to confront him will have to navigate towards the poison fog. Even with gas masks he seems to be able to manipulate his fog into solid masses. I spy. He is also extremely dangerous when paired with Hypnosis, who has an unknown mind control quirk, who can simply order his opponents to take off their masks, stand there for a few seconds and inhale deeply. High mind? And since the visibility is awful he can use the cover to shoot people dead. The brain? I agree with this assessment entirely. Lie detector. The events on the plantation were equally awful and warrant another villain rank change. Need nap. What now? Lie detector. The attack on the plantation began with Dobby setting the buildings on fire from a distance. When the members of the ISP emerged from them to confront the attackers. Reaper. Super punch. Claimed their souls? Lie detector. Yes? And there is the CRC Church with Team Terror. The brain? Team Terror? Need nap. Karma is good at making names it seems. Super punch. Yes. Lie detector. Led by Shield Maiden herself, she seems to have been the main strategist and leader of the operation. High mind. Need nap. And what happened? Lie detector. To sum up, La Brava hacked the church's security system and locked it down. When CRC started panicking, Echidna was warped inside and used her quirk to commit mass murder. She killed 103 people. The brain? Echidna? I am unfamiliar with the name. I spy. Same, a new member? Lie detector. Echidna is the code name Mahoro Shigaraki took up as her villain name. Super punch. A child killed over 100 people? Lie detector. Yes, regrettably so, she was locked down with them and used her quirk, which seems to let her summon some demon-like creatures. The monsters ate the cultists alive in 1 minute, and the little girl scored at least 12 kills with her bare hands and a knife. Need nap. I hate this country and how it turns innocent children into psychotic murderers. I spy. Same? Lie detector. That's not the worst of it. Titan, or more known to you as Katsuma Shigaraki, has single-handedly vaporized the upper part of Joseph, who was in the church, with a punch that could easily be 65% of your power. If we put it lightly, the destruction in the office was awful. I mind. Oh my god. What about the last kid? Lie detector. Killed single-handedly 6 heroes from the top 100 with a single attack. It seeks he is the rival of Endeavor but with water, extremely cold water. The remains of the heroes were unrecognizable and we will have to do DNA tests. The brain. So to sum up, the League of Villains, without Karma lifting a finger, has single-handedly crushed 2 bases of his enemies and cake out unscathed. Lie detector. Yes. Need nap. Shit. I spy. I can't believe we are promoting young children into S-ranked villains. The brain. Yes, this is the height of insanity. High mind? But considering their power it would be more insane to not promote them. Need nap. I would bet that the kids will jump in joy later while hounding Carla like they got a good grade or something. Super punch. Screw this. I need a drink. High mind? Let's go together, Toshi. Lie detector. Send me the place. I'm paying. I spy. Sometimes I feel like I am in a nightmare but just forget to wake up. The brain. Same, Miraikuin. Same. Really? Nanotechnology? First you ask me to raid the Nabu Island, to get you some weirdest research of some mad scientist idiot. Then you ask me to kill freaking Ingenium, and now you want me to raid the property of the second richest man in Japan? And to get you some weird-ass technology that you probably don't know shit about? What are you trying to do? Set the Japanese government on flames? Razer asked with a scowl as she narrowed her eyes. She didn't like this guy, or gal, she wasn't sure because of the voice changer, and even though they paid her for her troubles, she didn't trust a voice without a face. She was a woman in her early 30s with long silver hair and blue eyes. She was decent in height and very curvy. She was sitting on a couch in her apartment dressed in a small nightdress while holding a wine glass filled with some wine in her free hand. Fun fact about her. She was a contracted mercenary, and even though her apartment was next to freaking Endeavor's hero agency, the idiot never caught her. When he is sent to early retirement, because of course he will be, she will change her home and throw this bit of intel to the media. Would be a nice kick to the idiot's face. She could already imagine his expression. Glorious. What I do with those things is none of your concern, lady. You are getting paid to do a job. Do your job and take your money. Plain and simple. The voice said calmly. The woman clicked her tongue but didn't say anything insulting. Fine, but you are exponentially increasing my payment. This is not a stealth type of shit. I will be storming a high-profile dude's property and killing shit ton of people, then stealing a couple $1 billion research. You better prepare a fortune to send me after this, you creep. There was laughter on the other end. The laughter was hard to recognize. Whether it was that of a madman, a mad scientist, or just an evil psycho, she didn't know. But she was done with this creep. She wasn't getting paid enough for this shit. Oh, of course, why not? But let me give you a nice piece of advice, take it as tips. There was a dark chuckle on the other end. Avoid Nedzu and the UA for your own safety. And the Vigilante Alliance too. The former will give few broken limbs before throwing you in jail. The latter will give you a bullet in the head. Now that was unexpected. How does he know about Nedzu? And the rat found out that she killed his lieutenant? The Alliance hates her guts now too. Welp, she won't be bored for the next while. How the hell do you know that? Are you a two-faced idiot that works with them? Or are you the Prime Minister in disguise? No, maybe the HPSC president? No, wait, Redestro. Those idiots all hired me for jobs. So I have a lot of options. Which of them are you? Razer asked, amused. A small smirk on her face. The rat is out of the question. He wouldn't tell her to kill Ingenium. The other three options? More likely. Especially the president. There was a scoff on the other end. Her question was offensive, it seems. So not one of them? A whole new party? Oh please, I would never work with that rat. And don't compare me to that low life of a tyrant or the witch, and especially Long Nose. I am what you can call a man of culture. I have a vision for a future and I am working to make it a reality, the voice said. It was changed and robotic, which irritated her. She didn't like mysterious clients, especially ones she couldn't blackmail if needed. Razer decided that it wasn't in her contract to ask. She was a professional and didn't give a F about her clients. As long as she doesn't catch wind of him doing human experiments or being a human trafficker, she didn't give a damn what he did for living. Alright, fine, what do we know about the target? And tell me about the files? Because it is counterproductive to give a mission when I don't know shit about the mission. Razer asked while drinking some wine. The target is a biological weapon, designed with nanotechnology and quirk genes to be a weapon of mass murder. I'm not fond of that weapon, so once you find it, put a bullet in its head. As for the files, well, they are in the experimentation lab in the lowest floor. The voice spoke. Alright then, let's do this. Razer said as she hung up on the voice and went to her room. A biological weapon? That sounded familiar. Like that Nomu things? Gross, better get rid of whatever they was about quickly and get her payment. The silver-haired woman opened her closet and grabbed some clothes. She dressed in a dark sleeveless shirt and blue jeans. Then put on a pair of combat boots. And then put on a long dark coat that went down to her ankles. She grabbed her phone and slid it in her pocket. Then finally a gun appeared in her hand from nowhere as she smirked to herself. Time for the hunt. But unfortunately for her, what she will find will spin her world around. And change it forever. So, they failed to eliminate her? Nedzu asked with a frown while looking through his computer screen. Eraserhead is staring at him from the other end of the room, while barely hiding the hostility. It's a miracle that the rat didn't notice it. Maybe he is too focused to notice Eraserhead glaring a hole through him? Razer vanished before she got into the position of the meeting with the Alliance. Eraserhead replied with a scowl. She winked at the sniper, winked before dropping a smoke bomb and disappearing. I went with Plan B after receiving confirmation that Plan A failed, and attempted to set up an emergency meeting with her, only to jump her with a group of underground heroes. But she didn't reply. There is a possibility that she knows that it was a setup and went into hiding. Which shouldn't be all that shocking considering how slippery and sneaky she is. You think Selena caught wind of Razer and the lady was warned by Karma? Nedzu asked, curious. Eraserhead shrugged at that. No clue from his end either. If only I know why the League of Villains is looking for Razer, Nedzu and deep in his thoughts. After a bit of thinking he looked at Eraserhead with renewed interest. What about? No, Eraserhead replied with finality. This startled Nedzu. A rare feat. I don't know what you are planning this time, Nedzu, but the answer is a definite no. What do you mean? Nedzu is still surprised, and it is obvious. This is a rare occurrence. He usually is good at schooling his features and thoughts. What I mean is that All Might was right yesterday. Eraserhead replied calmly, with barely concealed anger. I relayed your order to the Alliance only because I know that the vigilantes wanted that woman dead either way, and that her survival is a threat to them. All I did was tell them where and when to find her. But now I'm done with her and I'm done with you. Aizawa, Nedzu started, but Eraserhead won't give him the time to finish. He had enough of this rat shit. I was aware that you used Razer to eliminate corrupt politicians and funders that were too dug in to be eliminated through other means, the underground hero said with a scowl. But I knew of only 5 assassinations and no more. What I didn't know is that you used several more heroes as couriers. Including Ingenium. There is a pause for a second. Eraserhead's face steeled up as he narrowed his eyes. 37 people. Killed or maimed pretty much at your orders? What is wrong with you, Nedzu? And let's not forget that some of them are heroes. 37 government-backed villains that couldn't be stopped any other way? Nedzu replied calmly. What was I supposed to do? No court in this country could potentially get people like Blade or Blaze behind bars. And you know it? Blaze is done for, not because Razer blew his brains out with a sniper bullet. Blade isn't done for because Razer kicked him from the window of his home. Eraserhead answered with venom dripping off his tongue. His quirk activated on instinct. They is done for because you anonymously released a video recording of Blaze setting he house of a mutant family on a fire, while telling them yacht he is untouchable and has friends in high places. Everyone knows he is done for now. Even if someone in the Hero Commission decides to defend him after all, his reputation, his career and his negative influence on heroics are over. Sending an assassin after him was irrational. Tell that to the family. Nedzu replies. I'm sure their innocent souls will be overjoyed to know that their killer had his career ended and received a lot of nasty words on social media. So it's all about vengeance? Eraserhead asked, getting more and more furious by the second. Justice might be blinder in Japan than in most of the world. But who gave you the right to be the judge, jury and executioner? The government and commission are. Nedzu is about to reply, but Eraserhead doesn't let him. Stop that. Eraserhead sighed and Nedzu, oddly enough, stopped talking. I know that the president of the commission is one of the worst villains in this country, her boyfriend is no better. I know that you are doing your best to not let them become an authoritarian tyrants. But what's the point when you are doing that by acting like her? Something ice cold shows up on Nedzu's face. It is fury that much Eraserhead is certain about. You are supposed to be a hero. A pro-hero. If you are truly fighting against the decline of democracy, you should have come forward and shown the evidence of corruption to the public and let them decide on the punishment. You can't restore public trust in heroes and justice by hiring assassins to dispense the latter on the former. You do realize that the only difference between you and Karma is that you didn't get your hands dirty and that you wasted money, right? Don't you dare compare me to villains? Nedzu is furious. More than he was before. Eraserhead saw him like that only once before. But he came prepared to face the rat. And nothing is going to change it. You know nothing about what the government did to me. And also, you're fired, Aizawa. Now get out of my office. No, Eraserhead replied calmly. Nedzu looked at him with a combination of shock and fury. No, I'm not fired and I'm not leaving. First of all, you are a hypocrite. If sending murderers after commission lackeys is justified because some of them did horrible things to you, then that means that QLF was morally right when it used to plant bombs in preschools because other quirk did horrible things to their members in the past. Past abuse doesn't give you a moral carte blanche. Nedzu opens his mouth for some fearsome retort, only to freeze in place. Eraserhead leaned over his desk and looked down on Nedzu from up close. His eyes glowing red and his hair floating menacingly. Oh, he hated irrationality and hypocrisy, all right. Second of all, if you get rid of me, you also need to get rid of All Might, Mike, Midnight, Vlad and all your contacts within the Vigilante Alliance and the Underground Heroes. And just so you know, Cementos and Recovery Girl will probably follow All Might even if he doesn't tell them the whole truth about the issue. And what do you think Karma will do when he finds out about how far you were getting from heroism? This is treason. The prospect is terrifying enough that it shakes Nedzu out of his silent fury. And the words about Karma is the cherry on top because the rat knows it's the truth. The corrupts will win, you can't. Aizawa is getting increasingly angry, But he knows that sufficient shock is the only way to make Nedzu reconsider his wrong ideas. Use your goddamn brain, Nedzu. Eraserhead is starting to lose his patience. Why, for all his brains, Nedzu is sometimes so stupid. We all gathered around the UA not because we wanted to work for you, but because UA meant something to us. We gathered around the ideals of heroism, of helping others and serving the people. So we didn't betray anyone. But you came very damn close to betraying us all when you started using assassinations as a go-to-mean of disposing of our enemies, instead of the absolute last resort. What's the point of getting rid of the corrupts if we turn into their copy to achieve that? There is silence in the room. Nedzu appears calm, but Eraserhead's eyes are good enough to notice the slight trembling. Think about it for a few days. The teacher said after the silence becomes awkward. Then tell me if I'm still fired. He is about to leave the room when he thinks of something. Also, why the hell did you think that it was a good idea to mention all that to All Might? That is the one thing he still couldn't understand. All Might was the definition of an idealistic fool. He would never look away from the right thing to do ideology of his. He would never side with Nedzu. It doesn't matter anymore. Principal replied with a sigh. Eraserhead was surprised by that. Was he missing something here? The League's private chat. F-School. So how did your holiday go, boss? Insomniac. You just want something to build another conspiracy theory now you started with his family. F-School. Why yes. The boss. Honesty is a virtue. Echidna. We are villains though. Laughing face. Mad scientist. Do you know how many supervillains were caught because their followers lied to them, sweetie? Vampire Queen. I am too young and beautiful to jail, so? Mad scientist. Honesty good. The boss. Unless you are talking to the police or heroes. Don't forget that. Posidone. Good thing that you added the last part, Dad. Titan. I was kinda about to phone the local hero office to tell them about the League of Villains. F-School. So kids, does his dad look like aliens? Game Master. The boss, really? Insomniac. One of the students in the USJ has a pink skin. Echidna, and antenna-like horns. Titan. Compared to her grandpa looks pretty human to me. F-School. Disguises. Game Master. Weird. Insomniac. What? Handyman. He looks so normal that it's weird. The boss. Dad is not normal. He is so terrifying that he tried to do the swivel chair move on me. The boss. I screamed in terror and hid beneath a couch. World's A stage. WHAT. Burn Beach. WHAT. F-School. WHAT. Deadpool. WHAT. Insomniac. Oh. Vampire Queen. Mad Scientist. Posidone. Yeah, Gramps can be scary when he wants. Echidna. And the worst part is that he wasn't trying to be scary. Titan. That was him pulling a prank. Purge the fakes. I am very happy he is retired then, because our leader is terrifying more than I like to admit. Live Riffle. If someone could scare you, then I don't want to be 50,000 miles near him no matter what. Echidna. But he is still pretty sweet. And he gives very nice head pats like daddy. Posidone. Yeah, Gramps is the coolest. Titan. Plus Grandma and Grandaunt hit him with frying pans on the head for scaring the life out of Dad. Game Master. That day I learned to fear women, because you don't hit the man that had All Might on his knees clutching the hole at his side with his organs in the wrong side of his body without being a monster yourself. F-School. They are Zeus and Hades respectively. Came from heaven to reign in the Demon King. Insomniac. Really? The boss. Just throw your craziest theory yet at me. Let's see how wild your imagination is. Vampire Queen. Oh. Mustard. You are not ready for my wildness, my dear friends. World's a stage. Now that's ominous. Invisibeach entered the group chat. Udata Spy entered the group chat. Rockstar entered the group chat. Goddess entered he group chat. Invisibeach. Sir, I have a new report for you. Vampire Queen. Hey girl. Udata Spy. We are here too. Goddess. Yes we are. Rockstar. Bet. The boss. A new report from my favorite spies. Rockstar. We are your only spies, boss. Insomniac. XD. F-School. Deadpool. The boss. Very funny. I am actually in a pretty good mood after the successful raids on the CRC and ISP idiots. Good job everyone. The boss. Maria and Beast must be losing their shit right now. Game Master. Yes, a very good day people. Our party got lots of EXP and rewards with multiple players moving up in the ranks. Burn Beach. Yeah, and at F-School is still dancing in joy from his promotion. F-School, because I am overjoyed. World's A stage. You danced too at Burn Beach, so you're not any better. Burn Beach. Never said I was tongue sticking out. Insomniac. Still can't believe I'm only a B rank? Deadpool. Ouch. Purge the fakes. They probably don't know you can stop any quirk with a glance yet. Liverful. Yeah, once they realize that you can just glare at All Might and shoot him in the face, they will give you the A rank and after few more public stunts the S rank. Insomniac, thanks but still. I keep hearing my quirk is villainous all my childhood, and now it's not flashy enough for the job? World's a stage, ouch. Insomniac, so unfair. The boss. I could send you to shoot Yoroi Musha in he face, the commission will make you an S rank out of spite. The boss, just don't be safe laughing face. Insomniac, thanks. Purge the fakes, hey what about me? The boss. Make a choice Uncle Stain, who do you want to kill more? The boss, Yoroi Musha or Endeavor? You can't have both, sorry. Purge the fakes, Endeavor no need for thinking much. F school, shit that was quick. Deadpool, lol. Purge the fakes, he is the biggest fake around, he must die. By my sword. Posidone, only after I spoke him and freeze his ass. Burn Beach, you will have to share buddies, I am getting my pound's worth of flesh from that jackass. The boss. Fair enough, I had multiple chances to murder him but I didn't because at Burn Beach called dibs on his flaming ass. World's a stage. Vampire Queen. Hey girls, did you see the new villain rankings? Our kids are growing so fast. Posidone, thanks. Echidna, thanks. Titan, thanks. You got a spy. Yeah we did, the kids are now S ranked. 0-0. Invisibeach, I know it's shocking. Rockstar. Yeah but Posidone can chew down Endeavor, Titan could tank punches from All Might and Echidna is an army herself so. Posidone, because we are awesome. The boss, I love my children and I am very proud of them. Posidone / Echidna. Titan / Mad Scientist, and that's sweet. Vampire Queen, I. The boss, so the report? Invisibeach, it's from after the talk about Tensei Iida's death. Rockstar, right after the festival? Goddess, you won't like it. The boss, what? You got a spy, just listen. Invisibeach sent a video recording. The boss, what? The boss, the Game Master, F? Insomniac, holy shit. Purge the fakes, are you kidding me? Posidone, that rat? Liverful, god damn it rat. F school. So to sum up, Nedzu is a cynical backstabber? Titan looks like it. World's a stage, so basically Nedzu hired Razer to kill multiple people he disliked? Mad Scientist, more like people that he couldn't take down legally. Echidna, honestly I am not surprised. Nedzu is a shady creep when you look closely enough. The boss. So to sum up, Ingenium was going to meet up with Razer to give her both payment and evidence to launch on the internet. Vampire Queen. But she is a money-loving beach, so someone paid her to kill Ingenium and she was like, oh cool, you pay more. F school. Does that mean we are going to destroy you? A? Posidone. This is bullshit? Invisibeach, actually listen to this. You got a spy. Dadzawa basically roasted Nedzu. XD. Rockstar, it was glorious. XD. Rockstar sent a recording. The boss, that was. Game Master, wow. Burn Beach, holy F. Vampire Queen. Eraserhead roasted Nedzu like a marshmallow. XD. Mad Scientist, oh dear. That was amazing. F school. Can we make it a tradition to listen to this every Friday night? Gecko Man, sounds like a great idea to me. Purge the fakes. My respect for Eraserhead increased 1,000,000 times more. Deadpool, same man, same. Insomniac, holy shit, Eraserhead is so cool, I really want his autograph so much. Posidone, same. That was glorious. Echidna, encore. 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 Liverful, I'm so listening to this before sleeping from now on. Mad Scientist, I know I am. World's a stage, OMG, that was truly magnificent. Titan, so dad, what do we do? The boss for now? Nothing. We have more important matters to plot. The special stunt few days from now and finding Razer. Insomniac, that reminds me, what are we gonna do? F school, yeah you are kinda tight-lipped about that. Vampire Queen, please tell us. The boss, no. It's a surprise. Posidone, now I am excited. Echidna, same. Titan, I hope we publicly kill Endeavor. Burn Beach, that would be glorious. You got a spy, so sir, Invisibeach, are you okay? Rockstar, we kinda heard that you were hit with a QSB. The boss, thank you for your concern ladies, but those only last 4 hours, it seems so not dangerous. The boss, Got attacked by some ISP but I killed them all with help from Red. Goddess, thank goodness for that. Please be more careful, Deku-san. The boss, I will try my best. Vampire Queen. You know, if all of us will keep hounding him like worried wives, we might as well make it official. The boss. I am not into a multiple relationships, Toga-san. Game Master. Deadpool. Burn Beach. F-School. Insomniac. World's a Stage. Gecko Man. Purge the fakes. How? The boss, I read a book. I do get free time sometimes. Mostly dude it because I feel like a socially unaware rock. The boss, so no, Toga-san. I don't think it's a good idea. Vampire Queen, why not? You are super nice and handsome. The boss, because you can do better. Game Master. Deadpool. Burn Beach. F-School. Insomniac. World's A Stage. Gecko Man. Purge the fakes. Liverful, big mood boss. Echidna, well that's not nice. You are super cool and nice looking daddy. The boss, honey, your dad is a mass murderer with thousands of kills and the worst villain in the country. The boss, plus there are better looking guys out there, and also I don't know the first thing about relationships. Vampire Queen, we can learn together. The boss, I know that I am not reacting to your teasing anymore, but can you not try to move into group teasing? Vampire Queen, but that's not teasing, I'm serious. The boss, G-Man is calling me, gotta take the call, sorry. The boss left the group chat. Mad Scientist, well that went smoothly. Vampire Queen, yeah you keep making fun of me. Titan, that could've went better. Echidna, you think? Posidone, well technically he didn't say no, Sue. Vampire Queen. Iida spy, we love you sweetie. Posidone, thanks. G-Man, hey man. G-Man, need to tell you something. Satan 2, what is it G-Man? G-Man, you need to come to my office right now please. Satan 2, huh? What? G-Man, well this gonna sound weird but... G-Man, shit how do I start this again? Satan 2, what? I dealt with a lot of shit before so just spit it out already. G-Man, well freaking our AZOR came to my office and asked to meet you right now. Satan 2. Satan 2, is this one of those situations where there is a joke but I am too socially unaware and awkward to understand? G-Man, nope, tongue sticking out, and that's not the weirdest thing either. Satan 2, what? G-Man, she didn't come alone? Satan 2. Satan 2, do I need to initiate plan tooth gap at G-Man? G-Man, nah, just come with 2 men and you're fine, although be prepared because this might become a great headache. Satan 2, encouraging, what does that woman want anyways? Satan 2, not that I'm complaining, she came to us, she is impossible to track down and it's as annoying as it is impressive. G-Man, no clue but she seemed pretty serious for some reason. Satan 2, and? G-Man, she would walk into the U.A without looking bothered, even nearing to boredom. G-Man, but for some reason she looks done with today. Satan 2, I can relate to feeling done with everything. G-Man, big mood. Satan 2, now you just sound like an insomniac. G-Man, nah, that kid is more on the mood type of Eraserhead, they would get along really well XD. Satan 2, oh laughing face. Satan 2, but seriously, the hell is this about? Satan 2, not in the mood for unpleasant surprises honestly. Satan 2, we had a very good day so far and the villain rankings were upped after my followers' public stunts, so I don't want my day to be ruined. G-Man, well I can't spoil the surprise, so I will just say that you might want to show up as the friendly villain king instead of the terrifying demon king. G-Man, and bring strong but still friendly looking bodyguards, so gentle, compress, vampire, shield maiden etc. G-Man, for the guest's sake at least, sad face. Satan 2, you are not usually too nice at G-Man, what the F am I getting dragged into? G-Man, no explanation from the lady. G-Man, just popped in, asked to meet you and then sit down in my office and took one of my chairs, grabbed one of my beloved wine bottles. G-Man, the good type. G-Man, and is waiting for you while the guest is reading a book. Satan 2, this better not be a setup. G-Man, unless she has erasure somehow, I doubt it, but since we don't know her quirk. Satan 2, oh I know her quirk, laughing face. G-Man, you what? Satan 2, yeah it's pretty cool honestly. G-Man, just how? Satan 2, was really hard I'll admit, but I analyzed her fighting style and the state of her victims. Satan 2, her quirk is something someone else I know would kill for. G-Man, please tell me you ain't fighting her in my office. Satan 2, nah, too much hassle, tongue sticking out. Satan 2, plus I'm curious to what she wants, so I'll hear her out. If she pisses me off then I will kill her and take her quirk. G-Man, Good enough for me, see ya in a bit. Satan 2 GTG bye. Deku isn't sure what he was expecting from the infamous and fearsome Razer, but this wasn't it. He expected her to look at him with hostility and distrust. Deku had a reputation to those he disliked. And she probably knows he disliked her since she seems to have avoided both the Vigilante Alliance and the U.A's attempts to get rid of her. But instead she was sitting on an armchair with a wine glass filled with shit. Guren wasn't kidding, she was using the expensive one's red wine. Her expression that of a bored woman with nothing to do. What? When Deku warped into Guren's building with Compress and Gentle by his side, both deadly but reasonably non-lethal fighters, skilled to end a confrontation without resorting to spilling blood, he expected a fight of the sorts. So having people like these two is important when there is a guest that Deku wouldn't want to be harmed, as Guren said. So the SSS-ranked villain entered the building followed by his entourage and went through the lobby to find some tough-looking guards. They recognized him instantly and froze. Well, only for a split second before they scrambled off to find Guren quickly and inform him that Deku Shigaraki was here in the flesh. Guren appeared a second later to greet them personally. Ah, Deku. So nice to see you today. You no longer come personally like you used to. Then again, I understand that you are very busy with running a SSS-ranked villain organization and trying to take over society while also trying to burn down your enemies. Too much work, isn't it? Gueren asked just to chuckle as Deku gave him a tired, irritated face. The mastermind didn't say anything, but the threat was clear. Let's get this over with or you'll be the one to die today. Gueren obliged and took them to the back. Gueren was a greedy idiot, everyone knew that. He loved money and you can't get money if you're dead. Deku entered the room to find the silver-haired woman sitting in an armchair with wine glass full of red wine that she was spinning in the glass. She was sitting casually and didn't even react negatively to his presence. Now that was new. Usually people tends to see him. Even as the Green Rabbit Sensei said that it was a talent only a select few have. So, you are the famous Razer. It's nice to finally meet the slippery snake that no one could get a glimpse of in person. Especially that I didn't hire you. Got anything? Deku started with a polite greetings as he sit on the chair. Gentle and Compress are on the side ready to move at a moment's notice. Both eyeing her suspiciously. They didn't trust her. Then again, nobody trusted someone who only served themselves, so it's not that surprising. And it's nice to finally meet the brat who is known as the Prince of Darkness and the Emperor of Villains. The boy who declared to all that he would take over society and could actually back up his claims. The brat strong enough to go in arm lock with All Might, outsmart the Rat King in his stronghold and F the president over while burning her life's work to ash. Razer greeted as politely before sipping her wine. There was a small pause before Deku decided to start the conversation. No need to hit around the bush. So why are you here? And why did you come to see me? Deku asked with a frown. That got the woman to sigh before looking to the side. Eve, introduce yourself to the guys. Razer said calmly. That snapped the trio's attention to a chair on the corner that had a 7-year-old girl with long blonde hair and pink eyes in a black dress with long sleeves and knee-high black boots sitting on the chair calmly. The little girl was so engrossed in her book that she didn't make a single sound. The girl's attention snapped to them after Razer called out to her. Blinking, the girl looked at them like she just noticed the new presence in the room. They were on the sailboat. Hello, I am Eve, was all she said. Then she went back to reading. A girl, a few words. No big deal, but the question was who the hell was this kid, because she was sure as hell not this woman's. Deku looked at Razer expectingly and she nodded. Alright, let's start the conversation with how I ended up here. Recently I got a new client instead of my usual one. Razer started. The rat stayed Deku. With frown. That surprised the woman as she smirked. Nice, yeah, it's the rest usually. Blaze, Blade, Jet Boot and few others along with some politicians and funders of the president. But Ingot another client recently, explained Razer with a shrug. Who told you to kill Ingenium? Scowled Deku as he glared at Razer. The woman nodded. Yes, he hired me for that and a couple other jobs. Ingenium was my second contract actually. Razer said, taking another sip, then spinning the contents of her glass again. What was your first contract? Asked Deku with a raised brow. Sneaking into the Nabu Island and stealing some research from some idiot. No idea what's in it though. Razer admitted. That caused a pause for a second. Who was your client, because not many people knew of said research? Asked Deku carefully. Compress and Gentle in the entrance are obviously worried. Razer shrugged. Dunno man. The guy or gal use a burner phone and a voice changer. I don't like faceless voiced, but they pay well, so I sucked it up, sighed Razer. And the third job? Inquired Deku with a raised eyebrow. Razer pointed at Eve in the corner then sighed. Are you familiar with Haruto Yashida? Razer asked with a raised eyebrow. Deku gave a skeptical look before answering. He is the owner of the biggest company for medical materials in Japan, with some branches around the world. A big funder of scientific research on gene therapy and the owner of multiple companies that works with high-tech computers. Why? Deku knew who that was. Momo-san didn't particularly like that guy because he kept hounding her for her inherited fortune, offering to be her many. Deku had half a mind to just kill him and get it over with. Yeah, but what nobody knows is that the idiot worked on developed nanotechnology in secret with multiple secret branches her owned. Razer explained. Nanotechnology? Inquired Deku. He was getting more intrigued by the second. Yes, this nanotechnology was used for a single purpose. Biological weapons creation. Deku scowled at that. Razer continued. In theory, this technology could be used to fix bodies on the microscopic level. Fix the problems with DNA, fix cancers and diseases, or even slowly grow back lost limbs and organs and even heal damaged ones. In a perfect world, nanotechnology is the key to healing all illnesses and saving lives, shrugged Razer. But we don't live in a perfect world, deadpanned Deku with a look of exasperation. Nope, said Razer with a pop. The nanotechnology was developed and injected into a young host's body, letting them be able to transform any part of their bodies into whatever they desired if weapons, while also giving them a huge boost to their physical performance and give them something like regenerative abilities, explained Razer. I was contracted to kill the weapon, but I changed my mind. I don't kill kids, I might be a beach, but I have my morals. That caused Deku and his entourage to look at the little girl in shock before Deku looked at her. And Yashida? Asked Deku. Sitting on his chair in his dining table, with a bullet in his forehead right between his eyes. I don't like idiots of his type, shrugged Razer. Deku nodded. So with that settled, why are you bringing her to me? This part was confusing Deku. You do realize I am the #1 villain, right? Razer scoffed at that while taking a large gulp of her wine, then refilled the glass. Simple. If I even considered letting the government catch wind of her, I might as well shoot her in the face and spare her the horrors. Sake with the HPSC and its president. Nedzu is a cynical backstabbing idiot and has a problem with empathy, and nobody else would want a living weapon. So I saw your brats in the USJ footage, so? Razer shrugged as she motioned to him. Mr. Compress burst into laughter at that. It was amused and joyful, causing everyone else to look at him strangely. Oh, the irony is hilarious. This is truly a travesty. The #1 villain. Deku Shigaraki. The man who killed dozens of thousands of people is a more trustworthy person to give child to than the entire Japan. What has our country turned into? Cackled Compress loudly. Razer sighed. My point exactly. Who the FL should I trust to treat her as a little girl instead of a living emotionless weapon? Apparently you are the most morally straight guy around, so? Shrugged Razer. Deku just sighed in exasperation. You are lucky I love children, lady, but I have an offer for you, started Deku. Join you? Sure, whatever, shrugged Razer. Well, that was quick. Not complaining, but why the sudden agreement? Deku was surprised. Razer shrugged. I have the whole country trying to kill me for something. Either to cover up their messes, to shut me up because I know a lot, or because they don't like me, shrugged Razer. Well, that was easy, smiled Gentle. And we didn't even need to fight. Hey young lady, you now have a new father. Are you happy? Gentle smiled as he looked at Eve while motioning to Deku. Eve looked up from her book and blinked. Happy? I am not happy, I am killing machine, Eve said blankly. There was a long pause after that before Deku looked at Razer blankly. The woman shrugged. See, imagine that witch getting her hands on this kid. Deku just groaned in exasperation at that. Great, another problem child for him to fix. At least his newest daughter was adorable. Ugh, back to school, we couldn't even hang out with everyone at home. Kyoka grumbled while looking at her phone. Kyoka, Ochako, Toru and Momo were riding the train to get to Uda, their little vacation already over. And honestly they were disappointed that their dear and beloved leader was too busy to even call, but they excused him. He was busy, so they shouldn't burden him. I for one am excited to see what internships we are offered, smiled Momo. Yeah, it'll be fun to see firsthand how a hero works in their workplace, cheered Toru. The trio had just started to talk when they heard a voice calling out to them. Hey miss. Hey. Ochako felt someone tap her shoulder, and so she turned around to see what was going on and who called out to her. You're Uraraka from the hero course, right? Class 1A, right? Good job with your fights at the sports festival, cheered a middle-aged man with a thumbs up. That in turn caused many people on the train to immediately turn towards the girls with looks of surprise. Whoa, it's really her. Isn't that Yayorozu from 1A too? It's also Hagakure who beat that redhead. Oh, it's Jairu, the girl who had the first place on his knees. You girls were in the best in the cavalry battle? So cool. They're so hot. The girls found themselves being crowded by people asking them for autographs and telling them a good job. Toru chuckled at Ochako's flustered face as well as Momo's light blush. Jairu was trying to suppress the annoyance to look nice. Toru herself was soaking the praise like a sponge. Soon enough, they were all walking through the rain with their umbrellas out, and chatting about what happened in the festival, and after it, Ochako and Kyoka especially kept speaking about Katsuki's public insulting of Endeavor, and the four girls laughed together. I hope Iida is alright. It must be hard for him, sighed Ochako as soon as they caught sight of the school. Good morning everyone, a voice called out loudly. They all turned around to see Tenya wearing a poncho and rain boots, running past them all to the school grounds. Why are you all walking so slowly? You're going to be late, shouted Tenya to the girls. Late? We still got 5 minutes, yelled Jairu in confusion. Too early? Grumbled Toru. Still, at his words, all of them started to jog, if not only to catch up with Tenya. As Udata students we should always arrive 10 minutes early, declared Tenya while chopping the air. Well, he's not wrong, nodded Momo, since she was raised in the same family class as him. Especially after our 2 days off. Who knows what will happen in class? Especially as student class presidents might have to help out. Fair enough, said Ochako. To this day she still doesn't like her position, but at least it let her steal or copy a lot of teaching materials and schedules as well as training plans. But why would her lord need those? To help with the league's training? He was super smart and does not need that. She could almost swear he was gonna open a villain academy or something. Anyways, soon enough they had made it into the school and were placing their umbrellas down and their shoes into the shoe lockers. It was at this time Ochako decided to ask. Iida, are you dash? If it's about my brother, then please don't, interrupted Tenya as he took off his poncho. I apologize for worrying you. I was unable to answer my phone for a while, thus unable to reply to the text you sent. Instead, I should apologize for not congratulating you on your victory at the sports festival. But this is a family matter that I do not wish to discuss. With that, Tenya walked off to class, leaving the girls to shake off the water from their umbrella. As Tenya walked away, Ochako couldn't help but gaze at Tenya's back with concern written on his face. No, she won't let this stand. She must correct it. So she went to the only person who could actually help her. Ralof. Udata spy, my lord Iida-kun seems about to try something stupid. The boss. Don't worry Uraraka-san, I spoke with Stain. We agreed that if Iida tried anything Stain will just paralyze him and take off. The boss. He knows how revenge can cloud anybody's mind no matter how heroic. Udata spy, that's a relief, thank you sir. The boss, my pleasure my dear. Ochako smiled before her face exploded with a blush at the last text. He called me dear. Shortly they were all in their class, each one of them eagerly discussing the aftermath of the UA Sports Festival and the attention they attracted. Ochako entered to see Katsuki sitting on a chair talking with Ijiru, Mina, Denki, Hanta, Fumikage and Mashareo. Dude, I wonder how many offers we got. Ijiru said excited. I don't know if I got any. I didn't do much to prove myself. Mina pouted. You did well in the cavalry battle, your acid was useful against icy hot so you should get something. Katsuki said offhandedly. Ah thank Bakugo you are so nice. Mina said teasingly. Meh I got 3rd place so I should at least get something. Denki said proudly. Yeah if you didn't lose the interest of the pros for giving up. Hanta snarked causing Denki to wince. That caused the whole group to laugh together. Ochako walked by them and sit in her chair before smiling widely. Good morning everyone. Ochako greeted with a bubbly smile. The group greeted her with their own smiles, well except for Katsuki who just shrugged. Yo cheeks. Guess you got hounded on the train like these guy. Katsuki smirked as he pointed at his friends who blushed. Something like that, nodded Ochako before tilting her head. And you? Katsuki just shrugged while the group looked at him with a wince. At that Ochako was more confused. That was when Shoto suddenly tapped his shoulders, grabbing Katsuki's attention. Bakugo, it may not be much, but I apologize for what my shitty father said yesterday in front of live television. Apologized Shoto, confusing Ochako and Katsuki. Say what? Blinked Ochako, tilting her head. What did Endeavor say? You mean you don't know? Piped in Mina, frowning slightly. It was some pretty mean stuff. What did the idiot say? Asked Katsuki, disinterested in what the flaming trash can had to say. Dude, how do you not know? Asked Mineta as he sat behind Katsuki. I was at the hospital for my old hag's checkup. Wasn't in the mood to watch the news after, replied Katsuki while glaring at the midget. Before anyone could even tell Ochako and Katsuki about anything, the door slid open. Immediately they all took their seats. "Morning," said Shoyuta as he walked in. "Good morning," greeted the students in unison. "Alright, we're having a special hero informatics class today with 1B, so we'll be meeting up in a larger classroom. Meet up at 1S in 5 minutes. Grab your bags," Shoyuta instructed quickly. "But before that, good work at the festival all of you, especially the winners of the first 3 spots." With that, Shoyuta walked out of the classroom. It took about 2 seconds for the students to process this before smiling to themselves and quickly grabbing their backpacks, then speed walked to 1S, a special classroom meant to hold at least 3 classes at once. Class 1A soon met up with 1B at the entrance of the classroom, and hastily entered, grabbing seats wherever they could. "Is it a quiz?" "I hope it's not," whispered Denki to Hanta fearfully. "That'd be so cruel to do after our break," whimpered Mina to Ijiro. "If it's related to hero laws and stuff, I'm screwed, that's for sure," whimpered Ijiro back. "Please don't let it be something serious." Kozai hissed to Nito. "Maybe one of us will lose our position as a student in the hero course," suggested Yui bluntly. "No way that could be it," hissed Setsuna, though not with much confidence. Yuga could only sink down in his seat, hoping it wasn't him. He had gotten last place within all the hero course students in the first round. It didn't take long for Vlad King and Eraserhead to enter. "Code names," started Shoyuta bluntly. "Today is the day you'll be coming up with your hero names," announced Vlad. That stirred most of the students up in a frenzy of excitement for 1 second before Shuta's eyes flashed red, his hair rising as they flashed, activating his quirk while intimidating all the students to quickly calm down and stay quiet. "This is related to the pro-hero drafts that Sekijiro-sensei and I mentioned the other day," continued Shoyuta as his hair came back down. "The drafts begin in earnest in the 2nd and 3rd years after students have gained experience and can become immediate assets to the pros. In other words," continued Vlad with a nod, "for them to extend offers to first years like you all reveals that they're interested in your future potential. But be careful, these offers are often cancelled or are retracted if interests die down before graduation. So you can't stagnate? That means we'll have to prove ourselves once we get picked," chimed in Toru. "That's right, and here are the totals for those with offers," nodded Shoyuta as he pushed a remote he had been hiding. Vlad did the same thing, pointing to another projector for his class. Side by side, the offers for each class and its students were projected onto the blackboard. However, there was a stark difference in the amount offered to 1A. The first one and the highest amount of offer alone was 5,123 for 1A, while 1B's highest was only 234. Curiously, the names were not listed on who had what offers. It's usually more spread out among all the students, but as you can see, 1A took more than usual this year, pointed out Shoyuta. Murmuring immediately broke out between the students at such a skewed scaling. Clearly they are blind to see the majesty of 1B, taking into all that flashiness, pouted Monoma while looking away. "Hey wait, where are their names?" asked Pony. The other students blinked as they noticed that there were indeed no names on the offers. "Usually we would have just done this in your homeroom class without mixing the classes, but this is a special case," explained Vlad with a sigh. "Not only will you be doing your hero names and looking at offers, but it was decided that we cover a bit more about the topic of media. We usually don't go over this subject until later in the year, but a certain interview forced our hand. Please raise your hand if you saw the live interview with Endeavor last night," groaned Shoyuta with a bored tone. One of the reasons why he became an underground hero was so he didn't have to deal with the media. Roughly half the students raised their hands in response. The other half that hadn't seen were busy with their families and other businesses or just not into the TV that much, and Tenya as he was more preoccupied with his brother's death. "I'm guessing the other half did not watch it due to extenuating circumstances?" asked Vlad, earning a nod from everyone. "Well, we'll reveal the names and then explain more about the results." When the names popped up, most students began scanning the list for their own names. "Those pros don't know a good thing when they see one," huffed Yuga when he saw his own name absent from the list. Katsuki trailed down the list before finding his name. His jaws dropped at what he had been offered. Quite a few others also looked shocked at the results. As you can see, the results are rather surprising considering the aftermath of the sports festival, but as you can see, the media plays a heavy role within the hero society, explained Shoyuta, pointing to the results for 1A. Ochako Uraraka, 5,123. Shoto Todoroki, 4,824. Momo Yaoyorozu, 637. Kyoka Jiru, 614. Toru Hagakure 601. Tenya Eden 154. Mina Ishido 150. Ajiro Kirishima 95. Denki Kaminari 55. Katsuki Bakugu 12. Antasiro 1. Sensei. Although I am glad to see I have offers, I must ask, how is it that Bakugo-kun, who won the sports festival, received so little offers? Was there a mistake in the system? A crash perhaps at the volume of offers that he should have received? Tenya asked with evident confusion. The rest of students looked equally as confused. No, Bakugo only received 12 offers despite his victory. Vlad King replied, looking annoyed and ready to punch someone in the face. Although it wasn't directed at the students. This is exactly why we're tying in the media topic with the results. I hope you haven't started explaining without me, Midnight called out with a purr as she appeared in the large room, suddenly opening the door while swinging her hips. Hanta, Denki, Mineta, and Cozy Eye couldn't help but grin at just who was walking in, flaunting her hips as she walked in the classroom. The attractive R-rated heroine Midnight. The sight of her caused most of the students to blush with the exception of Katsuki and Shoto. I'm here not only to help choose your hero names but to also explain you the effects of media onto your hero lives and careers. Midnight smirked sadistically. As I, being the one with the most experience with the media in UA as well as being the head of communications, can help explain all this. Now if you see here? Midnight pointed her remote at the wall, changing the screen so only Katsuki's name was shown on the large TV. This is after Endeavor's interview. And this is before that. Katsuki's offers number went from 12 to 7,314 in one go. Gah, what the hell is that difference? Are there really that many hero agencies in all of Japan? Asked Minoru with wide eyes in shock and disbelief. The rest of students started mumbling to each other about how was it possible for the number to drop so quickly. Katsuki just stared at the screen in boredom, not caring in the slightest. His first reaction was just surprise, but he couldn't care if people sent him offers or not. Some of those offers actually came from out of the country. Vlad King admitted. Not many but a few. That shocked them even further. So if he had that much interest in him, then why did the crowd disperse like that? Katsuki on the other hand just scoffed. Endeavor pulled some petty shit because Katsuki called him out and cussed him in front of the whole nation. Was he surprised? No, Endeavor was an idiot, so he wasn't that surprised or even bothered. After what he did to Icy Hot, Katsuki doesn't regret calling him out. And so, how did this offer get reduced so fast? Well, let's watch the video. For those who already watched it, just remain silent for the others. Midnight instructed as she pulled up the relevant video. Shoyuta himself had already gone to sleep since he already watched this. Honestly, he felt like strangling Endeavor for messing with one of his kid students like this but didn't voice it out loud. Fun fact, Amy had to pin him down so he didn't go after the flaming idiot, but that was something he will take with him to the grave. He wasn't that pissed ever since that one interview where the media said that Togata should be kicked out of the hero course despite being one of the most hard-working students. Hello and welcome to HNN. Today's topic is all about the Iida Sports Festival. We're going to start off with the first-year students. I'm your host, Sakura Kazumi. The fights, especially the tournament, was really hot. And speaking of hot, we invited a hero into the studio to discuss more about this. Please welcome the number 2 hero in Japan, Endeavor. The newswoman said, looking at the entrance. A rain of applause poured out as the camera panned over to Endeavor walking into the studio, taking a seat near Sakura. Thank you for coming. We were really surprised when you accepted our guest invitation to our show. Sakura said with a smile. It's a pleasure to be here. Endeavor said with a stoic face. The truth actually was that the studio hadn't actually sent an invitation to Endeavor. But in fact he had more or less forced himself into the time slot. Of course, the studio wasn't going to refuse the request of the number 2 hero, as it would increase their ratings immensely. Now then, tell us, what do you think of the quality of Iida's hero students today? Sakura asked in a conversational tone, starting the interview. The conversation went back and forth a bit, with Endeavor giving more neutral answers and so forth. Soon enough, the topic of the conversation had reached towards what Endeavor had specifically wanted to address upon. So, tell us, what do you think about the ending of the tournament? Your son was given a chance to compete again even after losing by a ring out, and he still lost after his second battle against Ochako Uraraka and Katsuki Bakugo. How do you feel about that? Sakura asked, curious. My son, an excellent job, and as a parent I say I am proud. Endeavor stated calmly. Though I still couldn't grasp how in the name of heroics and justice did that Katsuki Bakugo win. So you feel like the current winner of the sports festival for the first year doesn't deserve the spot? Sakura asked carefully, her face showing genuine surprise. I am refusing to acknowledge him as hero student to begin with. Even though he won the entire tournament and won his way all the way to it to begin with. That boy is too violent-natured and unstable to be in the hero course and be given a license. Because of the problems he could cause and the potential destruction and casualties. You say that Katsuki Bakugo isn't suited to be in the hero course? I don't think I am following you, sir. Sakura said, confused. I am merely stating that that boy would be more of a hindrance in the field and cause problems than anything. He is not fit to be a hero from my own experience. Endeavor replied calmly. Interesting theory, but what about when he destroyed the giant robot in the first round, and the leadership skills along with intelligence he showed in the second round? Just because he has brute strength and speed along with some trucks does not make him the strongest automatically. I have dealt with villains who were stronger than me and had more destructive power than me, but I easily dealt with them. Bakugo is the same. And not just in that but in personality too. The same as some villains I fought. Too battle-hungry and unstable. I see, and the other fighters? Like the second-place winner Ochako Uraraka, who won the second place in the festival. She showed amazing power and speed along with leadership skills of her own. Sakura smiled, remembering the brunette. Yes, that girl is definitely something special. She is powerful, skilled and intelligent, and without mentioning cut for the job. She is calm and collected along with friendly and respectful, unlike the first-place winner. Endeavor explained. And what about the other fighters? There were certainly some talented fights. Like Uraraka's first opponent, Nido Minoma, who copied a rather powerful fire quirk. In fact, it almost seemed like it was yours, Sakura said suggestively. Whether he did so or not isn't the question. It's rather if he could use it correctly. Despite all his attacks, if the copycat did copy mine, he only used a very small fraction of my true power. But even still, Uraraka pulled the win with incredible strength and skill. Even if it was a fraction of my power, to defeat someone like that shows that the girl is truly a top 10 hero material. And that's what Bakugo didn't display, showing violent behavior, the arrogance to prolong the fights and cause as much destruction as he could, without mentioning how reckless he is, willing to almost kill himself just to win a match. How can you trust such a reckless and careless brat with innocent lives? Endeavor asked with a frown. I see. If you put it that way, I suppose it does make sense, Sakura said with a frown. The rest of the conversation began to drift off into the other years. Midnight stopped the video, snapping her whip into the ground to grab everyone's attention once more. And there you have it. One of the top 10 heroes made it sound like Bakugo-kun didn't rightfully earn his spot, and not only that, made it a point to show everyone that he wasn't sending an offer to him. A few more agencies pulled back their offers from that interview forced by Endeavor, and soon, everyone was pulling their offers back. Though I hope nobody here thinks the same as Endeavor does, Midnight asked around with a frown. Most of the students shook their heads in agreement with Midnight. They had seen how Bakugo destroyed the zero-pointer and how beat both Uraraka and Todoroki. They knew Endeavor was literally blowing a lot of hot air. Minoma did try to raise his hands to disagree with Midnight, only to get his seat kicked by Itsuka, who was behind him. The girl gave a threatening glare that put the blonde in place. And so, as a result of his opinion, Endeavor has with just few words messed up Bakugo-kun's internship offers. But this topic is a perfect example of how your words can be construed by the public and other heroes when you're being interviewed, Midnight explained with a frown. She personally wanted to whip Endeavor in the face few times with her own hands for that interview. Bakugo was getting better in attitude and turning into a good student, if a bit tough acting, so seeing his improvement being bashed like that pissed her off as a teacher. And he worst as that was called a villain on national TV. Who does something like that? Seriously, All Might yesterday had to be talked out of storming the Endeavor Hero Agency and punching the guy through his office's window. But honestly, Nedzu and Eraserhead looked pissed if not more, but they had more pressing issues. But thankfully their allies still saw potential in their student, explaining the 12 offers. And Minoma, before you think of any of your insults, need I remind you just how many offers you got? Vlad King added with threatening glare while crossing his arms. Minoma could only sink into his chair and sulk at that. Peeking back at the board, he had received 0 offers. The one who had received the most offers in their class was Itsuka, who got past 200 offers. Keeping these results in mind, whether you were requested or not, you will all be participating in internships with pros, Midnight announced encouragingly. This is why we will be working on your hero names. And Bakugo-kun, don't worry about the offers. It just means that those who sent it see your true potential and aren't easily swayed by some big shot's words. I'm hoping you'll take my offer. Midnight gave Katsuki a look while licking her lips, causing many rebellions to arise in most of the teenagers' pants. Katsuki himself just mumbled a thanks and said nothing else. Hero names used by students tend to be recognized by society, and most end up becoming their professional hero names, explained Midnight, cutting back to the topic. Though there are chances to change the name after this? Vlad King explained, since Midnight didn't add that part. For instance, I originally went with Bloodman but changed it to Vlad King later on. Nonetheless, do take this lesson seriously. Portable whiteboards and erasable markers were passed out amongst the classroom to the students of both classes. A few minutes in, Midnight went ahead and announced that they would be presenting their hero names to each other. Quite a few of them became nervous at the thought of presenting to the whole class. Before anyone could even be called, Yuga confidently stood up, walking up to the front to present his name. Here I go, breathed in Yuga, shining hero, I cannot stop twinkling. Which means you can't stop my sparkles. It's a sentence, thought the majority of the class with sweat drops. It'll be easier if you take out the ich and use the contraction form of cannot just can't, advised Midnight as she edited the hero name. You're right, mademoiselle, smiled Yuga. Wait, that's okay, thought the majority once more, this time in surprise. Why don't you go with Shining Knight? Sounds better if you ask me. Katsuki grumbled to himself but was still heard by everyone. Yuga blinked for a second before erasing his own name and writing Katsuki's suggestion. Merci Bakugo-kun. Tsunami est très magnifique. Yuga admitted while sparkling. Katsuki blinked, surprised his comment was taken seriously. Then he found himself being asked for tips on hero names. Then allow me to present mine next, Ibra volunteered, taking Yuga's spot in the front. The gentle heroine, Vines? Ugh, sounds like a nice name to inspire hope, smiled Midnight widely. I approve. Let's keep going. Mina was next as she stood in front of everyone. The acid hero, alien queen? Mina said with a grin. Midnight shook her head. Sorry Diru, but the name is gonna cause a problem of copyright, Midnight said, causing Mina to pout. Mina looked at Katsuki, who was looking at his board. Oh Bakugo-kun, any suggestions? Mina asked teasingly. Meltdown? Katsuki said, not looking away from his board. There were some whistles at that cool name. Mina blinked before looking at Midnight with a grin. The woman grinned back. And Mina decided to take the name. Names flashed by as students began presenting their own names. A few names, like King Explosion Murder from Katsuki, and Rip and Tear from Toguru, were promptly rejected due to copyright infringement or from sounding too violent. Others like Uravity from Ochako, Kriati from Momo, and Battle Fist from Kendo were promptly accepted. A few needed adjustments, like Yui's original hero name, as she had gone with Size Hero. Size matters. Midnight had to explain that while the name wasn't too offensive, it could be easily misconstrued by everyone, thus changing the name from Size Matters to Rule. Alright, choosing hero names is going more smoothly than I thought it would. All that's left is Bakugo-kun and Toguru, who need to rethink theirs. Iida, Tsunatori and Todoroki, announced Midnight as she looked around the room. The hell should I name myself? They won't let me use the name I want. For being too violent. Something more comforting? Less intimidating? Alright, Katsuki, think. Katsuki thought for a second. Izuku chose a name that complemented his moral stand as a judge for heroes and villains. Endeavor chose his name to show how ambitious he was. All Might was freaking All Might, and all his teachers had something similar to their quirks or personalities, or both. But what did Katsuki want to be? He wanted to be a top hero, to save people and defeat villains. But that was what all heroes wanted. Was he that unoriginal? Meanwhile, Tenya was looking down at his own board, hesitating on the name that came in mind. It had been heartbreaking for Tenya to hear what happened to his own brother and that he ended up like this. His brother was supposed to have a bright future, leading and teaching sidekicks to grow, to inspire everyone. Only for that future to be ruthlessly cut down by the damn villain named Stain. His parents asked him to carry the name in his brother's memory, but he hesitated. I'm unworthy of such a name as of now, growled Tenya in his mind as he erased his first words, opting to use his name instead. Shaking his head, he went up to present it, trying to put on a smile to disguise his face. Soon enough it was down to two students, Shoto and Katsuki. Katsuki went up once more with a new name change. This should work. If it didn't, then he would just go with his name. The Savior Bomber. Dynamite? Katsuki declared loudly with bored look. Well, that works. Vlad King shrugged in response. The rest started applauding the name, happy that 3 failed attempts to use the King Explosion Murder was enough for him to change it. Well, if you like it, then go for it. It has a nice ring to it, cheered Midnight. Shoto was the last to introduce his hero name, something Katsuki suggested for him. My name will be the dual hero, Temper, Shoto said with straight face. That got some applause on itself since the name was kinda catchy. Good name. It has a flair to it and works on how your two sides affect your body. Approved? Midnight cheered. Alright, that's enough, yawned Shoyuta as he woke up. Now everyone's chosen a hero name. Let's get back onto the topic of internships. They'll last for a week, and as to where you'll have them, those with offers from pros will be given your own lists so you can choose for yourselves. Those without offers will choose from among 40 agencies around the country that will be accepting our interns. Keep in mind that each place offers different specialties, so choose carefully. Vlad King nodded. For instance, 13 focuses more on rescues from accidents and disasters than fighting villains, explained Midnight. Think carefully before you choose, warned Shoyuta. We'll be passing out the lists back in class. That's all. Yes, sir, replied the two classes. Soon lunchtime arrived, allowing the hero course students to browse through the choices they had. After all, they still had regular classes they needed to pay attention to before having more time to look at their choices. Hey, did you guys already decide what pro agency you're going to? Asked Mina. She was happy she got quite a few offers, but looking at it now, it was now bitter because of Endeavor's interview about Katsuki. I'm going with MT Lady, declared Mineta confidently. You're thinking of something perverted, aren't you? Called out Tsuyu, to which Mineta vehemently denied. Man, but still what Endeavor is? Anta said with a scowl. I know, right? He just to national TV and spoke about a student, made him look unworthy of his place, then said he shouldn't be in the hero course anyways. Denki said with a scoff. Yeah, the hell is the deal with that guy? Ajuru asked in outrage. Shattered pride, bruised ego and flattened dignity with shit ton of inferiority and superiority complexes all mixed together with the intelligence level of a brick wall combined with the shame. Katsuki listed carelessly. Tenya looked outraged at the last part being said so loudly, but the rest of class burst in laughter at that. That was, holy shit, Bakugo. Kyoka laughed while holding her stomach, much like everyone else in class. Aren't you bothered though? You got only 12 offers. Toru asked, curious in her visible form. And he probably dealt you a massive PR attack for after graduation too? Toru added with concern. Katsuki just scoffed and waved her off. No big deal, Prism. I cussed the idiot on national TV. I knew he was gonna pull that type of shit. Now whoever sent me offers are actually sincere people that I can actually trust. Katsuki shrugged before grinning. Plus now I don't have to go over hundreds to thousands of agencies. He added smugly. That actually got Ochako and Shoto to groan, realizing now the advantage Katsuki got. He wouldn't have to worry about the tons of papers to look through. But still, Bakugo, to this moment I still can't believe you insulted the number 2 hero in front of the whole world, Sato said. That was enough for everyone to cheer up and start speaking about that instead. So, let's talk about our choices during lunch, suggested Ochako looking around. That sounds like fun, grinned Mina, hanging off of Ijiro. Let's go. Ochako tried to invite Tenya, only to find him already gone from the classroom. Sighing at that sight, she stood up to head over to the cafeteria for some food. So, you guys already know who you're going to go for? Asked Mina once more. They were at the cafeteria sitting at multiple tables, but the 1A and 1B students were close to each other enough to converse. Fourth kind, replied both Tetsu and Ijiro before turning to each other. You're going there too? Sweet. The two cheered in unison. God help fourth kind. I'm going with Battle Hero, Gunhead's agency. Itsuka smiled. Really? Gunhead specializes in fighting villains, does he not? Momo observed. It made sense since Itsuka was a fighter type. Yep, I got an offer from them. Itsuka smiled. I mean, you guys proved to be strong and you housed the monster trio of the first years with Bakugo on top, so we must catch up. She added with a grin, looking at Katsuki. Dish whatever, grumbled Katsuki from the side of his table, but he was slightly smirking as he dug into his food. They had the extra spicy food today. Still deciding, voiced Yui, with Kinoko and Reiko stating the same thing. Blah, we still got time to think about this, grinned Setsuna. I'm going to do some more research with Pony here since she's having a hard time reading what choices she has. Thank you for helping me, thanked Pony with a smile. If you need some help with what hero does what, I can always help out. I have notes on a lot of them, offered Ochako. She was sure she could ask her lord and he would still be happy to give his own opinion. We might take you up on that offer, waved Setsuna as she looked at Katsuki with a grin. So, Splody boy? Who are the 12 that sent you an offer? Katsuki took another bite of food before replying. Hawks, Best Jeanist, Ed Shot, Crust, Maruko, Ryukyu, Gang Orca, Sir Night Eye Midnight, Shishido, Fat Gum and Hellbound? Katsuki answered. The room was so silent you could hear a pin dropping on the ground and would be deafening. What the F? Yosetsu wheezed from his table looking at Katsuki in disbelief. Dude, how the F did you get all these top heroes to send you an offer? Kozai asked in shock. Katsuki shrugged at that. Probably they did that to give Endeavor the middle finger. I know I would when I'm a pro. Especially Maruko. She probably had one hell of a laugh seeing me yelling profanity after profanity at Endeavor. Sounds about right? Sweat dropped fumicage. Maruko seemed like that type of woman. Well still, this is manly. You got so many top heroes interested in you, man. Ijuru and Tetsu said in unison. Wait, you got an offer from Maruko too? Ochako asked, surprised, looking at Katsuki in awe. Katsuki raised a brow. You too? Well, saying how tough you are, I guess it was to expect it. I got Gang Orca. Jaira grinned. She could take notes on the guy's sonar moves and imitate them when she turns to villainy when her mission was done. I got Best Jeanist. Monomo bragged. I guess he only sent an offer out of pity for Bakug Dash. The sentence was left unfinished as Monomo was knocked out by Itsuka. Sorry about him, Bakugo? Itsuka apologized. Nah. You girls haven't tried to murder US boys for grape juice yet, so it's fine? Katsuki said between bites. That caused all the girls to giggle. I think I will go with Iwabami. She's fairly popular, mused Momo. Faye, if you want to be stuck in modeling and advertisement and doing useless shit, go for it, scoffed Katsuki, surprising everyone. Excuse me? Asked Momo, her eyes bulging in surprise. Katsuki rolled his eyes and decided to explain. Iwabami is a popular search and rescue hero, but she's a more into charity, modeling, and sponsorship. If you do intern with her, you'll more likely be stuck helping her with some commercial, and when it's time for patrol, you'll end up helping organizing lines. Momo looked down at her list before promptly crossing off Iwabami's offer, looking for another choice. Ribbit, how do you know that, Bakugo-chan? No offense, but you don't seem like a major data collector like Ochako-chan, asked Tsuyu curiously. Yeah, how do you know? Asked Mina with amusement as everyone listened. The old hag, started Katsuki with a shrug. Is a model herself sometimes. The old hag beaches about Iwabami sometimes, mostly that Iwabami is a total beach to her. No way you have a model as a mom? Shouted Mineta, his eyes wide in shock. I demand photos. Who is she? What does she look like? Do you have photos of the dash? Mineta didn't get to finish as suddenly Denki was behind him, grabbing Mineta by the head and motioning to Katsuki. Finish that sentence and I feed you to Bakugo, Denki warned as Katsuki's hands began to crackle with small explosions. Now, is there anything else you need? No, squeaked Mineta. Good then, stated Denki as he dropped the trembling Mineta while the girls looked at him in disgust. Well, can't say he didn't deserve that, it wasn't manly to ask such a thing, frowned Ijiro. I know, right? Nodded Tetsu. So, have you chosen? Asked Itsuka, switching topics swiftly. Before long, lunch was over, sending them all back to class to discuss more about their choices later on. As the setting sun gave the school an orange glow, so too were the students preparing to leave. Katsuki had finished packing his backpack, prepared to go home with his friends when suddenly, I am here in a bizarre position, shouted All Might as he slid in front of the door in a bowing position. Would young Bakugo please come with me? I need to speak to you in private, please. A bit weirded out, Katsuki obeyed, with the blonde telling his new friends to just head home without him. They didn't seem happy but nodded in agreement as they left. All Might brought him to the staff room where there was a tall dude with beady blue eyes and slightly spiked up blonde hair waiting outside. The boy entered with All Might, who turned to the blonde with a smile. So young Bakugo, you must be curious why I asked you here? Asked All Might. Not really, scoffed Katsuki. If this is about the cussing back at the sports festival, I ain't apologizing to the flame idiot. No, of course not, placated All Might with a frown before pulling out a piece of paper. I have noticed that you haven't received a lot of offers for your internship. Yeah, so? Katsuki asked with a shrug. Don't mind, plus the ones that sent me internships are top 10 heroes and other famous ones, so it's not a loss. True, but I called in a favor as a bit of recognition for your will to fight to prove to everyone that you were the strongest, despite the damages you sustained. Here is another offer for you. The hero's name is Gran Torino, said All Might as he handed the paper to Katsuki with the address on it. Who the F is that? Asked Katsuki as he took it, looking at the address strangely. Well, he is a retired hero, and even back in the days he was more of an investigation hero than combat, shrugged All Might. Ugh, so nothing to teach me, scowled Katsuki as he handed the paper to All Might. All Might took it and raised his arm high up in the air. Now, I'm not forcing you to take it, it was merely an offer. He was a teacher at UA High for 1 year, but more specifically he was my personal mentor during that year and I learned a lot from him. But if you don't want it, then I'll dash. All Might didn't get to finish as he felt something, or rather someone, crawling up his arms. He looked to the side to see Katsuki crawling up, trying to grab the piece of paper he had handed him. Give me. Mine, chanted Katsuki, trying to grab the paper without using his quirk to boost himself up. A personal mentor of All Might? That was as good as the others, if not better. Haha, don't be so eager, young Bakugo. Now just let go of my arm and I'll give you the paper, laughed All Might. Katsuki quickly obeyed, and as soon as the paper was within reach once more, he snatched it away as if afraid that All Might would retract the offer. Anyways, Gran Torino is a rather strict teacher, started All Might and gulped. So you might want to show some respect when you meet him. In fact, when I trained with him, All Might trailed off, causing Katsuki to wonder what was wrong with him until he saw All Might's legs quiver. He did this, and that, and oh god, that, so scary, too scary. Stop trembling legs, hissed All Might to himself. If a mentor can make All Might shake like that, then sign me the hell up. Grinned Katsuki as he stared at the offer. Oh, this gonna be good. Anyways, CC, could you call young Togata and FF for me? You're free to go now, said All Might, his whole body still shaking from the traumatic experience. Yeah sure, you mean the toon-faced dude? Nodded Katsuki as he opened the door. Oi, big guy. Your turn? Katsuki let the boy who greeted him cheerfully pass by before Katsuki gave a nod of acknowledgement and left. He had a good feeling about this particular mentor. Shoyuta was going through some of the internship papers that some of his students had already submitted. It was no surprise to him that Shoto would be heading to Endeavor to practice the flame part of his quirk. Even if he was an idiot with what he just did to Bakugo, Endeavor was still the number 2 hero in Japan for a reason despite his attitude. As Shota shuffled through the list, he stared at Tenya's request in surprise. Hosu City, Tokyo Normal Hero. Manual Agency. That was the only choice that Tenya had only filled, leaving the 2 alternatives blank. It wasn't as if Manual's agency would be impossible to get in, but given the amount of offers, Shoyuta was sure that there were better offers than the one chosen. Hosu City, don't tell me? Thought Shoyuta in worry. But he knew that Stain wasn't caught doing anything since Ingenium, so nothing to worry about. I'm home, declared Tenya as he arrived at his house. Tenya, did you want anything to eat? I've made a fresh pot of tea on the table as well as some snacks, shouted a female voice. I'll be fine, Mom. I have homework I need to catch up on, replied Tenya as he marched up to his room. As soon as he shut his door, he looked at a wall. More specifically, a map plastered on the wall with pictures all over it, with red yarn and various pushpins connecting everything. The photos on the wall were all of Stain's victims, both dead and alive. The red yarns connected from the photo to where they were last discovered. To top it all off, they all formed a trail and a circle right at Hosu City. Soon, brother, I will find the hero killer and bring him down for taking life away, swore Tenya with a growl. The boss, I have an announcement. Game Master, what is it this time? Razer somehow phoned and is joining? The boss, actually yes. Posidone, Dad, I have a feeling the excitement is about something else. Echidna, and I have a good feeling about this. Titan, please be something good. World's A stage, well this is gonna be a surprise. F-School, you adopted a biological weapon? Deadpool, you didn't? Gentle criminal, he did. Posidone, another sibling? Team Shigaraki say YEAH. Titan, YEAH. Echidna, YEAH. Game Master, how old? The boss, 7 years old. Uncligiri, mental state? The boss, very calm and emotionless to the point it's painful, also very blank in social interaction. Burn Beach, gender? The boss, a girl. Posidone, YEAH. Titan, YEAH. Echidna, YY. Live Riffle, deadly? The boss, oh very. Purge the fakes, then she will fit in well. Vampire Queen, is she cute at least? Laughing face. The boss, somehow in the same league as Eri-chan. Echidna, YEAH. Game Master, quirk? The boss, formerly quirkless but now a living weapon, can turn any part of her body into stuff, super strength and speed, hyper regeneration and enhanced senses. Mad scientist, Can I check her to see if whatever was done to her was done so correctly for her and our safety? The boss, of course at Mad Scientist. That would for the best. In Vizy Beach, can we get to see what she looks like, my lord? Iida spy. Yeah, not hanging in the base because Nedzu might catch us disappearing. Goddess, and the curiosity would end up killing us. Rockstar, if she is that adorable I just need a pic. The boss, sure thing ladies. The boss sent an attachment. A picture of Eve in a white dress. Vampire Queen, ah. Mad Scientist, ah. Iida spy, ah. In Vizy Beach, ah. Rockstar, holy shit. Goddess, oh my goodness. Game Master, boss? How do you keep attracting adorable brats like this? Insomniac, maybe it was your original quirk all along but you were too young to activate it? Oh. F school. Nah, his quirk is a class 6 quirk that makes him unravelry amazing. It's just that he lacked the confidence to use it correctly. World's a stage, I can't argue with you on that logic, our leader is cool, it's just too much to be natural. Burn Beach, yeah I'm convinced XD. Posidone, ugh she is as cute as Eri and Mahoro. Echidna, is there a problem? Posidone, yes. Something called teenagers, keeping idiots off of you 3 in few years will be a headache. Titan, I know the idea of some jerk bothering my beautiful sisters makes me want to punch someone. Art. Echidna, Eep. Vampire Queen, ah. Mad Scientist, ah. Iida spy, ah. In Vizy Beach, ah. Rockstar, ah. Goddess, ah. The boss, understandable but your sisters are more than capable of pulling their weight. Posidone, I am still going to personally judge whoever my sisters are interested in. Posidone, the test will be hard. Titan, is there going to be attempts of murder? Posidone, yes, people show their true nature when nearing death. I will judge if they would die for my sisters. Posidone, if they fail the test, well they die. Purge the fakes, I taught you well. The boss at Purge the fakes, please stop turning my kid into a dramatic maniac. Purge the fakes, he was already a maniac when you brought him in, I am just giving him lessons to use that madness for a real goal. Game Master. Yes, you can't finish a game if you don't what your objective is. Burn Beach, so on that topic is it finally time to tell us what our next mission is? The boss, nope. Done picking up clothes for my newest baby girl so we are coming. Prepare yourselves especially Grand Pagiri. Uncle Giri, I am actually excited for the idea of having another child to care for in the base. Game Master, oh you can't wait until the boss gets biological kids. Burn Beach, now that would be a very very happy Papagiri. Deadpool, oh. World's a stage indeed. Insomniac, too true. F school, we completely forgotten about Razer joining in. The boss, she is very cooperative actually. Shocking. Shoto Todoroki, Bakugo? Can we talk? King Explosion Murder. Why the F are you using your name? Shoto Todoroki, is that wrong? Shoto Todoroki, not that experienced with group chats and social interaction. King Explosion Murder, I am going to F endeavor up so bad when I graduate. Shoto Todoroki, please don't, he will hurt you. King Explosion Murder, in his dreams by the time I graduate I'll be far stronger than him, that I promise. King Explosion Murder, but enough about that, what the hell do you need icy hot? Shoto Todoroki, can we be friends? King Explosion Murder. King Explosion Murder, is this a prank? Shoto Todoroki, no, I want to have friends and not be lonely. Shoto Todoroki, to live for something more than just hating endeavor. King Explosion Murder, yes. You are finally free. Shoto Todoroki? King Explosion Murder, wait a sec. We need someone else. King Explosion Murder invited Uravity to the private chat. Uravity joined the private chat under the default name Gravity Queen. Gravity Queen, Katsuki-kun? What is this about? King Explosion Murder, Icy Hot finally wants to live for himself instead of spiting in a beach. Gravity Queen? Gravity Queen, this phenomenal. Gravity Queen, and a happy occurrence. King Explosion Murder, I know. Shoto Todoroki, are you guys okay? Gravity Queen, yeah it's just, when you talked to me about your family life Katsuki-kun eavesdropped on us. Gravity Queen, so he decided to make you realize that it's your quirk not his, and help accept yourself. Gravity Queen, we were waiting for you to decide to live for more than just hating endeavor and actually try for friends. Shoto Todoroki, since you are here, I will ask you both. Shoto Todoroki, can you be my friends? Gravity Queen, happily. King Explosion Murder, Sure, whatever. Shoto Todoroki, laughing face. Gravity Queen, he used emojis. King Explosion Murder, I know. Shoto Todoroki, you are acting like my sister when she sneaks into my room. King Explosion Murder, why the F would she sneak into your room? Gravity Queen. Oh dear. Shoto Todoroki, I am not allowed to interact with my siblings because they would hinder my growth as my donor days. King Explosion Murder, I will enjoy giving Endeavor the howitzer impact cluster. Gravity Queen, I hope Carla kills him in front of the cameras. Shoto Todoroki, same. Shoto Todoroki, I have friends now that, surreal to me. Gravity Queen, though, do you know exactly what that entails? Todoroki Shoto, I'm not sure. I'd like to find out. Todoroki Shoto, I never had a friend. Gravity Queen, well, we'll work on that too. Don't worry. Head pats. King Explosion Murder, took my words about not being like Endeavor, huh? Todoroki Shoto, plus Ultra? Gravity Queen, yes. Gravity Queen, we'll work on your social skills. King Explosion Murder, right now we have to figure out how to make you meaningfully interact with other people. King Explosion Murder, because I don't think you have a lot of things to talk with people about aside from training and school shit, no? Shoto Todoroki, sorry, not really. Gravity Queen, is there anything else that you can imagine having a talk with someone about? Thermostat, well, I can theorize about heroes. King Explosion Murder, theorize? What type of theories? Gravity Queen, send us an example, I have a good feeling about this. Gravity Queen, Kaminari. XD. King Explosion Murder, dunce face, you gotta this. XD. Zap Zap, what is it, dude? Gravity. I have a business proposal for you. Zap Zap? King Explosion Murder, we need to make a YouTube channel, and since you love memes so much I guess that you're the one to get the job done. Zap Zap, huh? Zap Zap, I mean my brother has one and it's kinda popular, so I know the theory and I kinda wanted to become a YouTuber at some point, but heroics are better, though mixing the two is always an idea. Zap Zap, but what sort of channel and what brought this? Gravity Queen, discovery that the class hermit is an absolutely incredible conspiracy theorist and we absolutely need the world to see him ramble about the heroes and villains. King Explosion Murder, Icy Hot tried to persuade me in cheeks that All Might the actually biological father of Shield Maiden and asked his best friend to pretend in his place to protect her. King Explosion Murder, and he also tried to convince me in cheeks that her mother is Star and Stripe because of the similarities and the age difference being convenient. Gravity Queen, he even brought detailed calculations of their weight and speed on the basis of their quirks to justify it. It's like a blackboard of numbers and charts. They all add up. Zap Zap, LOL. King Explosion Murder, and his second theory, no, I'm just going to show you the screenshots because even trying to sum it up in my mind makes me laugh my ass off the bed. Zap Zap, ha. Zap Zap, oh my god. Zap Zap, what is this? Zap Zap, the world must know. King Explosion Murder, I know, right? Amazing. It will be viral, mark my words. Gravity Queen, we trying to rehabilitate Shoto-kun back into society and think that this might be the key to give him something to socialize about. Zap Zap, I'm in people. Zap Zap, this is an absolute goldmine. King Explosion Murder, I know, right? Zap Zap, I'm getting technical preparations done right now with my brother's help, you get him to agree to all of that. Gravity Queen, I'll get Kyo-chan to work on the soundtrack. XD. Zap Zap, yes. They ended up doing his show idea. They decided to make it an interview similar to what Endeavor did, but Shoto will not be messing someone's reputation but sharing his talent with the world, as Ochako put it. Shu was confused by that. He was surprised that his theories made Ochako and Katsuki that amused and excited, but if they thought it could help him learn socializing then he will give it his all. The two of them agreed to help him learn how to interact with others and he won't let them regret it. Shoto knows that he was lacking so much when it comes to human interaction, but he will learn. And for that the first step according to Ochako and Katsuki was to start by using his hobby for the start of his social interaction. Shoto went to Kaminari's home after sneaking from his own. His sister was a saint that Endeavor somehow brought to the world, how that happened he wasn't sure. Then again their mother is just like her, so it shouldn't be a shock to anyone. Shoto sneaked from the home when Endeavor was doing another late night of work. He does a lot of these and very often that Shoto could have been doing this for a long time, but he was too focused on spiting his donor to try sneaking out to make friends, or even try befriending people online because apparently that was a thing. He went to the train station after texting Ochako to ask where to meet them. After confirming the station he should stop at, he got into the train. The ride was filled with him texting Ochako and Katsuki, Denki joined in and looked just excited for this. Shoto will have to thank the electric blonde for helping him too. He never knew how nice his classmates were, he should get to know the rest too after this. No, in fact he must get to know them all. Well, except for Mineta, because even if he didn't pay that much attention he still knows about him. Soon enough he reached his destination. Shoto exited the train to meet up with Katsuki and Ochako on the agreed train station. Recognizing them wasn't really hard since both of them had a very powerful presence. Each his own but both very powerful. He wondered why he didn't have one despite being close to them in power. Maybe because they had their own ambition and dreams and were willing to follow them with determination? Well, he couldn't call it an ambitious or a dream before because it was about someone else, but now he wanted to be like them, strong and willing to become the greatest. And not let anything stop him until he gets there. Not for endeavor but himself. And his family. He sensed the two rather easily with their different yet still similar presences. Katsuki had that aura of a fierce lion that you just feel stalking you with his mere eyes. Like a predator looking at his prey with malice. Even when not being hostile, the blonde is somehow intimidating. Which was impressive because Endeavor wasn't that scary shockingly. Ochako on the other hand had a presence similar to All Might, the irony considering the quirks and persona. The strength and will was there, but instead of an intimating face her power is wrapped in a coat of friendliness that made her very approachable and easy to befriend. Which was nice. They were both very different from each other and had their weird habits and shenanigans, but they were Shoto's friends. First friends he ever got to have. And he will cherish them to his death. That he swears. He exited the train and walked to them because spotting them didn't even take effort. After all, as he stated, they had such a presence that you to easily spot them. He walked to them and Ochako immediately beamed at him with a bubbly smile. How someone that cheerful could turn to a lioness when it's fighting time was anyone's guess honestly. Shoto-kun. You came. We were worried Endi Beach wouldn't let you somehow, beamed Ochako as she clasped her hands together. Shoto couldn't help but smile at the name. How was the train ride? Are you okay? She was also nice. It was fine, thank you. Shoto nodded. Good, now time to show the world your theories, because if someone like me enjoyed those, you are going to make so many people smile and laugh their asses off. Katsuki grinned as he slung an arm around Shoto's shoulder. So where do we go now? Shoto asked curious. The two started walking with him dragged by Katsuki. The three of them talked about few things, mostly about the internships, but one thing they promised was to do a three-way training sessions together. Because honestly they the only ones in their class that could push each other to plus ultra. Soon enough they reached Kaminari's house. The electric blonde welcomed them with a large grin that was just the definition of friendliness. How Shoto never tried to interact with such nice people, he had no idea what was he thinking, but he will correct that mistake. The four of them went into Denki's room, where it seems to have been transformed into a studio of the sorts. They settled down and grabbed the script one more time while Katsuki hangs the blackboard. Shoto felt touched. They got him a blackboard? That was nice of them. After a bit the stream started. Started with a brief intro that introduced this as a first installment of a heroic conspiracy series of a UA guesswork channel. The watchers are introduced to Denki Kaminari. Hello everyone. I am Denki Kaminari from Class 1A of the U.A's Hero course. And today we are starting a new weekly show on the weekends that speaks about conspiracy theories. Denki grinned. In the League of Villains base, a certain Mustard perked up while looking at his phone in the living room. Having Ochako sent everyone in the league the link beforehand. They were all waiting for the drama and comedy show to start. Mina Ishido, OMG, what is this? Ijiro Kirishima, sounds like something from a comedy show. Fumikage Tokoyami, sounds like a good source for good quality entertainment. Mustard, I am in for conspiracy theories. Itsuka Kendo, a villain. Dabi, relax, we are here for laughter. Vampire, yes, we might be villains but we still like to have fun. Yui Kota, you kill people. Reaper, tell me how many innocents did our boss kill and how many did Thunderbolt kill? Nido Monoma. Shit. Yosetsu Aways, whatever, let's watch. And we are going to get our conspiracy theories from a very smart but admittedly very non-socially experienced classmate of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, give a round of applause for Shoto Todoroki. Denki introduced as the sound of applause could be heard with special effects. The camera moved back and unzoomed to show Shoto sitting right beside Denki. In the Endeavor Hero Agency, a flaming pile of garbage does a huge spit take while looking at his large TV in his large meeting room with a gaping expression. His sidekicks are grinning ear to ear. In an unspecified island in the tropical Rei, Himura chokes on a butter and jelly sandwich that her new lover made with her best friend helping her swallow. Both women looking at the internet-connected TV with shock while their lover grabbed a bowl of popcorn chuckling sinisterly. In the League of Villains base, Dabi fell out of his bean chair while looking at his phone with a huge grin on his face. Tsuyu Ajui, OMG. Mina Ishido, OMG. Ijuru Kirishima, LOL. Hantashiro, now we're talking. Dabi, how the F did they get Endeavor's kid? Redestro, I have a feeling this will be hilarious. Karma, yes it will be. Ibara Shiozaki. Are you somewhat friends? Mightless. No, but the internet is a gray zone for all to forget work. Overhaul. Yes, and I just must hear this. Maria, hope it will be worth my time to listen to. Beast, whatever it is I will have material to antagonize Endeavor and that's all that matters. Dabi, cheers to that. Hantashiro, just bear with it man. It's an honor to be here Kaminari. Thank you for having me. Shoto said politely. My pleasure man. When the first and second place winners and your fellows in the monster trio of the hero course told me about your talent, I just had to share it with the world. Kaminari exclaimed before looking at Shoto intrigued. So what is your first theory Todoroki? And what evidence do you have to back it up? Shoto hummed before nodding. Melissa Shield, or more known as Shield Maiden, is All Might and Star and Stripe's secret love child. That I assure you, Shoto said confidently. In Iuda's council room, Toshinori Yagi puked an alarming amount of blood as he heard what his student suggested. David Shield fell out of his chair while yelling out a what? Shoyuda Aizawa groaned miserably while pinching the bridge of his nose and Nedzu cackled manically while having some tea. The other pro-heroes were thoroughly amused and excited to hear this. In the USA, Kathleen Bates chokes on a large double cheeseburger, almost choking to death before gaping at her TV screen with an expression of bafflement that would be recorded for the history book. In the league's base, Melissa made a mistake for being startled and had an invention blowing up in her face and explode her entire lab. Deku's insane and evil laughter could be heard in the base with high volume. Senkaibara, lol. Mightless, haha now I must hear this. Overhaul, the appetite is already good and I'm looking forward to the main dish. Redestro, considering how powerful their meta abilities are it makes sense. Mina Ishido, is the class hermit seriously giving conspiracy theories on live internet? Ijuru Kirishima, yes and it's manly. Shield Maiden, I dare disagree. They are not my parents. Beast, that's the natural response to the truth. Karma, no seriously she is not. But I want to hear the logic behind this. Oh? Denki's face showed genuine surprise and amusement. Please, tell me what made you believe in such a theory? Shoto nodded as he pulled from a file that he definitely didn't have a second before 3 pictures and pinned them to a small pinboard that was visible to the camera. The picture on the left was for All Might maybe 20 years ago while the one on the right was for Star and Stripe. And between them and underneath was a picture of Shield Maiden. All 3 in their costumes. By looking at those pictures objectively, the similarities in looks, build and costume along with the smiles are astounding. The blonde hair, the piercing blue eyes. The strong built and undeniably powerful quirks, even if the child was a late bloomer. Shoto explained calmly. Momo Yaoyorozu, well that's a bit of a start. Redestro, with the costumes and looks it's kinda obvious, how did I not see it? Mightless, because apparently the biggest of secrets are hidden in plain sight. Fumikage Tokoyami, revelry in the dark. Shirhai Kurwaro, indeed. Hantashiro, oh come on there are a lot of people with blonde hair. Pony Tsunatori, I testify especially in the USA. Denki hummed. Possible, but how do you explain the age difference? Star and Strip is what, 42? And All Might is above 50. That seems weird. Not to mention that her father is known to David Shield. Kaminari interjected with a smile. Shoto nodded. A front, 2 top heroes can't just announce having child like this to the world. They just have so many enemies out there willing to hurt them through their loved ones, especially that their daughter was defenseless for her being a late bloomer. So what better way to keep her under the radar than give her to All Might's best friend and sidekick David Shield, who lives in Island, one of the most secure places on Earth. Shoto argued politely. Karma. Oh. Posidone, damn it's so obvious. Echidna. Wait Mama Lisa, does that make All Might our grandpa? Vampire, probably. Titan, well this awkward Mama Miko. Vampire, I know but hilarious too. Mina Ishido, you kids have 2 moms? Posidone, 7 actually. Setsuna Tokage, ahaha someone is living the dream, don't you agree Karma? Karma. Yes, having multiple loving mothers is every child's dream. Katsuki Bakugo. You haven't changed when it comes to girls so I'm safe. Take that raccoon eyes. Mina Ishido, give it time. I will win the bet. Karma. What? Ijuru Kirishima. Don't mind them, sir. Eri Shigaraki. Mr. Shoto is funny. Denki nodded. True, but how do we explain the quirk thing? It's unknown what the quirks if both parents are, and the same for the supposed daughter. Do you have theories on that? Kaminari asked. Well, to sum up, All Might has a quirk that lets him grow more powerful the older he gets, but it's different from Yoroi Mush's. All Might's quirk is, frankly speaking, an enhancement-type quirk that stockpiles massive amounts of physical power with time passing, Shoto declared. In different locations, Deku, Raijin, Toshinori and Kathleen took large spit takes of their drinks at this. Redestro, Karma? You are the quirk genius here, any input? Karma, I will kidnap that boy and make him my personal student. Nedzu, I called dibs before you, Deku-san. Overhaul, who else is in here? Star and Stripe, I don't know if I want to laugh at this or punch someone in the face. Karma, objectively speaking, I say since you are a hero, just take the peaceful solution. Eri Shigaraki, plus miss. This is making a lot of people smile and laugh, so it can't be something bad. All Might, I guess it's true, but it's still about me, so. Star and Stripe, both of us, I heard this type of theories but not a single one this backed up. Seriously, he should go into investigations. Night Eye. Agreed, I will send work-study offerings. Eraserhead, I was gold miner without realizing it. Ochako Uraraka. Wait until his second theory. Mightless, he has more. Antasiro, ha. Wow, are you sure about that, dude? There has been a lot of theories about All Might's quirk, from invincibility to wind control to super enhancement, Kaminari said, and Shoto nodded. Yes, because when he debuted his power wouldn't have been enough for him to go toe-to-toe with Redestro, but now even with his injury and time limit he can still overpower Long Nose, so his quirk grew more powerful. Which is unlike normal that gets weaker from old age. So it's a quirk that grows stronger with time. Shoto stated confidently. Redestro, frankly speaking, this kid is impressive. Overhaul, as a quirk scientist I agree with you. Mightless, so the older he gets the stronger? No wonder nobody could topple him. Maria, I guess we will have to wait for him to die of old age. Beast or heart failure. Karma. His quirk makes him immune to these things. Denki is obviously fascinated by this. What about Star and Stripe? He was obviously looking forward for this one. A Class 6 reality warping quirk. Touch plus vocal command to activate. Lets her put new rules on something or someone after saying their name. So for example, she touches herself and says, Kathleen Bates speaks Russian, and bam, speaks Russian. And that's the simplest application. She uses a rule to obviously be as strong as All Might while using other rules to do her superhuman feats. So there must be a number on how many rules she can do. If I must guess, it's probably 3 or 4. Shoto explained with a nod. Star and Stripe. I don't even know what to say. Karma. Me neither, I took pride the only one to guess and analyze your quirk, now I got competition. Redestro, I must recruit that kid. Nedzu, I will bite your throat off with my teeth. Long Nose. Night Eye, find none taken talents to recruit. Mirio Togata. This little dude is a riot. Nijair Hado, I know right. He is super funny and smart and just makes me laugh so much. Eri Shigaraki, I know right Miss Hado, he is super funny. Tamaki Amajiki, oh god, it's spreading. Karma, do you have a problem with my daughter? Tamaki Amajiki, and oh my terrifying demon overlord. Karma, good. Denki blinked and nodded. And Shield Maiden? What is her so mysterious quirk? Denki asked intrigued. A Class 6 enhancement type quirk. Works through converting her will into strength and speed. So an overall enhancement of everything. Which seems to be a mixture between reality warping quirk that forces the will of the user on reality itself and physical power stockpiling quirk into a quirk that uses the user's will to generate power. And as we saw from her and All Might, they both could buff up and turn muscular when using their quirks, so that's another similarity. Although she was a late bloomer, so we could argue that All Might was one too. Shoto explained. Karma, this kid is hilarious. Redestro, oh. Mightless, LMAO. Maria, ha. Beast, now I got something to look forward to in the weekend. Overhaul, yes. Reaper, yeah, this guy is a hilarious narrator for side stories. Usually I do a skip, but I just must watch this. Maruko, got that right, crusty lips. Reaper, you still interested in a duel? Ryukyu, no. Maruko, yes. Meet me in the old docks. Reaper, sure, see later. Denki looked amazed. Wow, that's really super accurate. But we still are on theories here, and this evidence is circumstantial at best. So do you have a touchable evidence? The next 5 minutes was spent with Shoto writing in a blackboard multiple calculations he made for his theory. And the world got to see the Shoto narrating while breaking down the voices of the two #1 heroes and supervillain while comparing the shocking similarities. Nedzu, interesting, he broke down your voice, height, build, weight and medical conditions. Night Eye, fascinating. Star and Stripe, how the heck did he know I wear contact lenses? Momo Yaoyorozu, it's Shoto Todoroki, that's all I can tell you. Carla, this is actually hilarious in my opinion. Katsuki Bakugo, wait until the second theory, you will never show up without your helmet again. Reaper, I have a good feeling. Amazing. Now that you are done narrating your first theory, what else do you have for us in your sleeve? Denki asked, trying not to laugh. Shoto smiled. He actually smiled as he pulled 2 pictures to show to the camera. Karma, no. Redestro, yes. Mightless, ahaha. Maria, oh, for the love of everything holy in the world. Dabi, Unko. Mr. Compress, my. Eri Shigaraki, known to be the adopted daughter of the #1 villain Karma. I am today going to prove to you all that this little angel is the daughter of this self-proclaimed demon king, Shoto said with a determined expression. They witnessed Shoto spending 20 minutes narrating his theory with a lot of photographs as evidence that Eri is Karma's secret love child. He even pointed out how of all kids that were showed she was the only one to not have multiple quirks and not involved in the villain business. He also pointed out that without multiple quirks she does possess a class 6 healing quirk while her father also possesses a class 6 quirk controlling quirk. And finally he pointed out that he seems to love her the most, which proves that she was his biological, with the 3 others being adopted. Karma, I dare disagree. Poseidon, I don't mind being loved slightly less. Echidna, yes, Eri-chan deserves lots of hugs. Titan, despite the theory being nonsense I find it entertaining. Redestro, give me a second, I am rolling on my office's floor laughing my ass off. Maria, ha. Beast, ah. Overhaul, so she was never the boss granddaughter? Eri Shigaraki, go to hell Overhaul. Reaper, go get him kid. Vampire, Deku-kun, anything you want to share? Karma, no. Dabi, but the evidence shockingly adds up? Karma, my baby girl is 6 and I am close to 16, do the maths. Overhaul, Dunning. Mina Ishido, so to sum up, a devil birthed an angel? And Asiro, yeah, it's weird. Katsuki Bakugo, we can assume the mom was an angel herself. Shield Maiden, well, this was hilarious. The show ended after the second theory was narrated, and to say the stream was popular would be an understatement. Man, 10 million hits and a 200,000 likes on the first stream? Denki looked at his computer in shock while Katsuki was busy cackling. Holy F. That was so hilarious. Katsuki yelled in amusement. Ochako beamed at Shoto while giving a thumbs up. Good job, Shoto-kun. Everyone just loved your theories. We should do that every weekend. Ochako declared. Shoto blinked before nodding. Alright then, I'll make sure to few more theories for next week. I have a lot of these. Shoto said. Like what? Denki asked. Oh, he just must hear another one. Space isn't real. Shoto said seriously. NASA is making it up to start a cult about alien overlords. There was a bit of silence before Katsuki laughed again. Amazing. The League's secret chat. The boss, alright, first things first. The boss, what? Iida spy. Sorry my lord, it's just. Iida spy. We are teaching Shoto-kun social interaction and we needed something for him to socialize about. Burn Beach. Thanks for helping my little brother be human, by the way. Laughing face. Burn Beach. Enduhor completely forgotten about teaching him that. Poseidon, how can he teach something he doesn't know? Iida spy. OMGXD. The boss. OMGXD. Game Master. LMFAO. XD. Insomniac. XD. F School. LMFAO. XD. Worlds is stage, hahaha. Gecko Man. LOL. XD. Burn Beach, yes. High five. Poseidon, high five. The boss, it's nice of you at Iida Spy to help a friend, really? But couldn't you find something less embarrassing? Iida Spy, we needed to give him something he can actually talk about. Game Master, so your genius idea was to make him speak his hilarious and completely bullshit conspiracy theories on live internet? Iida Spy, yes. Gecko Man, sorry at the boss, but I really hope this show wouldn't be cancelled. F School, you think you can enroll me in the show? Iida Spy, well, if you show up with a false ID and not wear your villain outfit, I think we can manage. F School, yeah. Insomniac, now this should be interesting. Mad scientist at Iida spy, I'm sorry but you literally screwed me over. Mad scientist. Everyone now will think that Uncle Mike and Big Sis are my parents. Iida spy. Please honey, it's fine. People will forget about it in a couple days. The boss. Now everyone thinks that Eri-chan is my daughter, and while that would be a dream coming true, it's still a big deal. Game Master. Redestro and Mightless were believing those theories for F's sake XD. Iida spy. Oh cheese, stop being dramatic. Plus my lord, I'm sure if you ask Eri-chan she would be delighted to be brainwashed into thinking she was actually yours. Vampire Queen. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Laughing face. The boss. That still has some teeny tiny little issues, like maybe. The boss. I don't want to brainwash my child, you nutjobs. Insomniac. Well, you called her your child, so why not make it official? F school. You both have white hair, red shining eyes and pale skin with class 6 quirks, boss. Burn Beach. Nobody will know the difference between you guys. I swear it on my mother's happiness. Purge the fakes, agreed. I mean hell, if I joined when she was around I would have thought she was yours and you were bullshitting all of us, winky face. Game Master. I'm all for the idea of having the little girl as the actual niece of mine, smiley face. World's A stage, but our leader isn't your biological brother? Game Master. Game Master, I hate you, sad face. The boss. I still care for him more than other people care for their older brothers. Heck, I love him as my actual brother. Game Master, laughing face. Vampire Queen, so what do we do now? Purge the fakes. I need to purge the fakes, leader, send me on them. Live Riffle, can't you take a vacation? Purge the fakes. No, now can I? The boss, sure thing. Purge the fakes. Really? The boss? Yeah, we have a meeting and then you can go to Hosu for some hunting. Silver Death. I feel like you are using him as a bait, new boss. The boss, yes. And you will be there with him, my target has you on his list. The boss, but now ignoring business, how are you doing, my newest daughter? Eve, fine. Mad scientist, could you be more descriptive please? Eve, my room is nice. And you are all nice to me. So thank you. Insomniac, well at least she is happy? Oh. Eve, I am not happy. I am a killing machine. Vampire Queen, Deku Shigaraki sigh. The boss, honey, you are not a machine. You are a person. Okay? Laughing face. Eve, alright. I am a killing person. Silver Death, purge the fakes. Every time I think I've seen a truly messed up kid in the head, somehow our leader finds another one even more messed up just to prove me wrong. F school, this country is a shitty place to live in. Insomniac, mood. Iida spy, but accurate. The boss, Eve, you are not born to kill, you are a child. You are free to do whatever you want and grow up to do whatever you want. Eve, does reading count as wanting something? The boss, yes. Eve, then I want to read. A lot. There is a lot of things I don't know. And books could teach me so much. Vampire Queen, okay. I'll take you to the library tomorrow. Eve, thank you. That place has a lot of books. I can't even count how many subjects there is. World's A stage beyond count. And all waiting for you to read them. The boss. Well, Toga-san will take you tomorrow then. Anything else besides books you want? Eve, can I have ice cream? It was really delicious. The boss, your wishes are my orders, my dear. Mad scientist, you are an amazing father. Vampire Queen, agreed. Iida spy, and you only have adopted kids. I'm curious how you will treat your biological kids. The boss, if I had one I would love them unconditionally. Quirks or no quirks. Care for them and support them. With all my power and time. Burn Beach. That alone makes you a perfect dad in my opinion, smiley face. Game Master. Yup, considering my real dad was a mess I agree with Endeavor's hater, smiley face. Burn Beach, you had a shitty dad too? Oh. Game Master. Beat me up every day at 5 for wanting to be a hero? Burn Beach, and mine beat me up to be one? Insomniac. F abusive parents, sad face. F school, agreed, sad face. The boss, my dad wasn't bad, smiley face. Game Master, your dad wasn't present? Game Master, I prefer to imagine him to be dead, smiley face. Burn Beach, I want mine to be dead. Purge the fakes, I also want yours to be dead. Echidna, you guys are impossible, laughing face. Melissa sighed as she took off her lab coat and visor. Even if she was super strong, there is nothing wrong with safety precautions. As she finished her shift for the day, she exited her lab and grabbed her phone as she walked to her room. She had something to do since Razer was here now. With another child. Deku looked super happy with Eve-chan. The little girl needs help, counseling, and a lot of hugs to make her functional because let's face it. She would never be normal, she wasn't normal as a quirkless, she wasn't normal right now, and even when she starts acting like little girls she would still be different. But that was fine because the league rejects normal. No one here was and they didn't want to be. Anyway, she grabbed her phone and sent a quick text to Crawler. Selena Gomez. We found her, sucker. Sawa Takeo. Damn. Selena Gomez. Are you going to honor the deal? Sawa Takeo. Are you going to make sure she doesn't talk with anyone about working with the Alliance? Selena Gomez. Let's just say that I'll make sure that she doesn't lethally inconvenience the Alliance in any ways. Selena Gomez. But I'm not going to kill her. Sawa Takeo. Why did you even look for that bouncer? She is to say the least a snake. Selena Gomez. Well, not me as in me, but Karma-kun wanted her and I delivered. Selena Gomez. Water under the bridge now. Selena Gomez. Also listen. Selena Gomez. You should recall Alliance members from Hosu for a while. Sawa Takeo. Why? Selena Gomez. Consider this a warning, the city's getting too hot for you guys. Selena Gomez. Too hot as an Ingenium was assassinated by Razer, who was paid by someone from an anonymous party with so much money and no identity. Selena Gomez. And a super rich guy in Hosu was assassinated by Razer for something, can't tell details, and apparently the rich guy had a biological weapon that she took. Selena Gomez. I also found out that Razer joined the league officially and now will start doing missions starting by Hosu. For F's sake, and the biological weapon is now in Karma's possession. Selena Gomez. Hosu's getting hot and it's best for you and the Alliance to not be there if things get even hotter, sad face. Sawa Takeo. Shit? Selena Gomez. Yeah, it's grade A political clusterf, and if you get too involved, Commission might target you even if it won't connect you with Razer and Stain. Sawa Takeo. I'll relay the warning but can't promise anything. Selena Gomez. Alright. Melissa stayed waiting for what answer she would get from the Alliance and Crawler. Seriously, the vigilantes and underground heroes will be a major problem for whatever Deku was planning. He was already dealing with the latter, so she got the former. Hopefully her warning will be enough for them to be spooked into leaving the city, or things might get nasty. Sawa Takeo. Alliance decided to listen to your warning. Selena Gomez. Oh? Sawa Takeo. We contacted some other sources. Too many strange things are happening in the city nowadays. Sawa Takeo. Something nasty's in the air. Sawa Takeo. Too many underground heroes and other weirdos around. And I was almost spotted by Yoroi Musha of all people, but I heard he pulled out today. Sawa Takeo. But the point is that Alliance is pulling out from Hosu for the next 2 to 3 weeks, until the situation calms down. Selena Gomez. Reassuring. Sawa Takeo. Good luck in whatever you're doing. Selena Gomez. Will do my best. Sawa Takeo. Please be fine, you really are one of our best sources. Selena Gomez. It's nice to be loved. Smiley face. The Iida War Council. Satan 2. Hey Nedzu-san. I need a favor. The brain? Oh dear. I spy. Please, not another disaster. Lie detector. Please no. Just no. Need nap. What is it this time, problem child? What disasters are you planning? Satan 2. Nothing too bad, no mass murder if that's what you are worried about. Just an operation that I wouldn't want good people caught on. Super punch, that's actually a relief. I mind, so you watched that conspiracy theory show? Satan 2 watched it? Watched it. Satan 2. I am running DNA tests on Eri-chan in secret just in case. I know it's impossible because, well, I am a teen, but better than live with the doubt. Lie detector, XD. Need nap. Understandable winky face. The brain, so what favor are asking? Satan 2. Please evacuate all underground heroes from Hosu for the week. Satan 2 at Selena Gomez already had the Alliance pull off for few weeks. You should do the same at Neednap along with the underground network. That way no innocent or good people will be hurt. I spy why. Satan 2. Not ruining the surprise. Plus you can just watch it on TV. Neednap. Problem. Child. The hell are you plotting? Satan 2. I am not going to commit a mass murder, but someone who deserves to die will. End of story. Super punch. And if we don't cooperate? Satan 2. Anyone who gets in the way will end up collateral, I'm afraid. Neednap. I texted Emmy, we are on it. Satan 2. I just LOVE working with smart people. Laughing face. Satan 2. I need some Nomus ready for combat this Friday. Dr. Evil? Oh? Satan 2. Yes. Another operation. This time it will be way more entertaining than before. Satan 2. I'm not going to tell you anything because honestly, you can just watch it on TV. Satan 2. This will be glorious. Satan 2. Not going to ruin the surprise though. Dr. Evil? finally planning something big, huh? Dr. Evil, Sensei would be proud. Dr. Evil, how many Nomus do you need, young lord? Satan 2, 2 high-end Nomus and 10 upper tiers. Satan 2, follows orders please, as in more than just me. Dr. Evil, consider it done, when do you need them? Satan 2, in 3 days. Dr. Evil, more than achievable, we restocked after your rampage on the HPSC HQ thankfully. Satan 2, marvelous. I'll pick them up on Thursday. 10 p.m. works? Dr. Evil, yes. I will have them all prepared. Satan 2, thank you my loyal servant. Dr. Evil, anything my lord. Everyone from the League of Villains was present in the meeting room of the base, with Stain looking a bit impatient since he was kept in the base for a few days now. He was tapping his foot on the ground making a noise until Nagant smacked him upside the head and mumbled a threat to him that the others couldn't hear, but was still effective surprisingly. Tamura was holding his Nintendo Switch and playing an RPG waiting for whatever this was about. Gentle and La Brava were drinking tea and chatting while Mustard and Spinner were playing a card game to pass the time. Compress was playing a guessing game with Razer, and the silver-haired woman was able to tell where the cards and marbles were every time, not fooled by the magician's misdirection techniques. The showman was impressed by the woman's focus and concentration beyond belief and enjoyed the challenge. Rika was sitting on a chair beside Himiko and Melissa, the three of them chatting happily and trading stories. Rika was supposedly in a joint operation with the League as a show of gratitude for their help. Shinso was watching a cat videos on YouTube and snickering to himself while the three kids were speaking with Eve in the corner with big smiles while the blonde girl was as blank as usual. All the chat died down when Deku entered the room with his hands behind his back. All went quiet and sit in their places, and even Tamura put down his game to listen up. Deku walked to the front of the room besides the projector and smiled at everyone. Hello everyone, and thank you for coming at such a short notice, especially Eureka-san. Deku smiled at the redhead and saluted him with a wink. Today we are going to discuss a big operation. And when I say big I mean big like the usual for the League of Villains. We did so many high-profile missions and public stunts, so this time there will be no difference. Well, considering what we usually do, it will be hard to outdo that. Shinso chuckled. We attacked the U.A and killed Thunderbolt along with kicking All Might Sace in our first public stunt, then destroyed the HPSC and screwed over its president. Then battled the MLA and mass murdered CRC and ISP members. What can we do to outdo that? There was no sarcasm in that question. He was genuinely curious. Well, you are right. It would be hard to outdo killing high-ranked heroes and destroying government ministries. But boss sure has something planned. Mustard shrugged. Honestly, I don't think we can outdo killing Thunderbolt for how much of an idiot he was. He had an entire cemetery in his closet and was completely a glory hound. But he was untouchable for the fact that he was ready to do anything for the HPSC. Nagant said her opinion. Deku nodded his head at her words. But he was still a hero number 3. Deku said, and Stain scoffed. That got him to his next point. I know your opinion on the hero ranking, Stain. I know they disgust you, and they disgust me too. Heroism should be measured on your willingness to risk your life for others, not in how strong you are and how popular your aesthetic is. But whether we want it or not, they influence the country. People look up to the top 10 heroes. A single fake among them is a greater threat to the word hero than 100 lower-ranked fakes combined. And that's who we are striking. Who? Kota asked, excited. His glinting in excitement as he cracked his knuckles. Endeavor? Izuku replied with a smirk. Dabi jumped from his seat with a grin of excitement. His goal. His ambition, destroying the idiot that destroyed his family and avenge both his mom and his siblings, and himself for those burns. Now you're speaking my language? Stain grinned menacingly. Deku chuckled darkly. I'll help you judge the number 2 heroes, Stain and Poseidon, in front of the entire world, Deku declared, and Kota started cackling loudly. Stain joined soon after. They got to planning right away. You all have our hero uniforms, right? Asked Shoyuta as he looked over his students, making sure the count was correct. Remember, you aren't allowed to wear them in public, so don't lose them. K, yelled Mina in an excited tone as she lifted her case above her head. The rest of the student looked at her with smiles and amused expressions. Speak clearly. And it's yes, sir, Ashido lectured Shoyuta sternly. Yes, sir, pouted Mina as Ijiru patted her on the back. Make sure to mind your manners with the heroes at your internships, instructed Shoyuta, looking serious while shooting Katsuki a knowing look. The blonde scoffed but said nothing. Now off you go, added Shoyuta, shooing off the students. Yes, sir, was the reply of everyone. They began to disperse, a few taking the train to their new destination. Tenya was quickly walking towards his train when he heard his name being called. Being respectful, he turned to see Ochako, Toru, Kyoka and Momo quickly walking up to him. "If you ever feel hopeless, please, let us know, okay?" pleaded Ochako with the other girls nodding in agreement. They knew what revenge could lead to, especially that they knew Izuku. The kind-hearted boy, with a heart of gold that was shrouded in darkness because of his despair and pain. They didn't want such a fate to befall Tenya as well. "We're friends, right?" Momo smiled encouragingly. Tenya closed his eyes as his mind couldn't help flash back to the times they spent during the U.A with everyone. How happy he was and how he found amazing friends and rivals. He opened his mouth as if to finally let the emotions he had buried deep inside him to be set free, only for the image of his brother's grave to shut that down. "Yeah, we are," nodded Tenya before walking away once more. Ochako quickly jumped forward and extended her arm, grabbing Tenya by the wrist. "I'm serious, Iida-kun," stated Ochako looking worried. "Please don't shut us out." "I'm fine, Uraraka," stated Tenya, not looking back. The girls frowned at that. "It's time for us to depart. I'll text you when I arrive." With that, Tenya shook off Ochako's hand and started walking away from the girls once more. "Iida," whispered Toru in worry as Momo patted her on the back, looking at Ochako. "He is going too deep, not that I blame him," grumbled Kyoka as she shook her head. "Attention. The train leaving for district will be departing soon." "Oh, I need to go," panicked Momo as she started running off. "I'll see you all in a week." "See ya," nodded Toru as she quickly went to board her train. "Later, chicks." Kyoka smirked as she went to her own train. Ochako watched them leave, sending a quick text to Deku, wishing him luck on whatever their mission was, before boarding the train to go to where Maruko instructed her. As she was in the train, she realized that closest person won't reach their destination until at least an hour, and since Tenya stopped being active, the 1A rising stars. "Uravity, guys. I need help." "Riot in red, villains?" "Oh. King explosion murder, you need to hide a body?" "Wait is endeavor." "XD. Soba, I can turn him ash, just hide the corpse, smiley face." "King explosion murder, and I know where to rid the ashes, just hang in their cheeks, smiley face." "Crow. Oh. Alien Queen. Oh. Pikachu. Oh. Uravity, no, I didn't kill Endeavor. It's about Iida-kun." "Sad face. Tailman, what's wrong with Iida?" "Sugarman, other than that his brother is dead?" "Riot in red, ouch. Pikachu, ouch. Spider-Man, ouch. Tailman, shit, forgot about that." "King explosion murder, hey, you don't think that Four Eyes is dumb enough to go after the hero killer, do you?" "The goddess, I'm really afraid so at King explosion murder, but we don't have the power to stop him from going to Hosu. We tried to make him talk with us, but Rockstar, he is a man on a mission, damn it." "Soba, more like a man on a dying path. No offense to our classmates, but Iida has a snowball's chance in HELL to defeat a rank 6 villain." "King explosion murder. I will see what I can do. If anyone passes by Hosu, then find the moron." "Goddess, sounds like a plan." "Alien Queen, alright then." "Pikachu, K. Uravity, thanks again everyone." "Riot in red, don't mention it at Uravity. Helping people is a hero's job and the peak of manliness." "King explosion murder, alright, gotta go as we agreed. We keep an eye on Four Eyes. Later, beaches." Katsuki sighed as he put away his phone just for the blonde, while other blonde to smile at him. The toon-faced dude from when he got his internship from All Might. And why the F does this guy resemble a tintinked version of the #1 hero? It was as creepy as it was hilarious. If Icy Hot was here, he would have asked if Toon-Face was Katsuki internally cackled Shield Maiden's twin brother. "So you are on an internship, Junior?" Toon-Face asked with an irritatingly big smile. "Because we seen going to the same area. What hero are you picking?" "I'm Mirio Togata, by the way." In normal circumstances, Katsuki would have told the dude to get lost. But first, he was trying to be less of a mess so he won't. Second, this guy was a senior so Katsuki could get some tips on the internships and warnings. And third, the dude doesn't seem like the type to shut up anyways, too optimistic, like a Toon Y version of All Might. And Katsuki watched All Might cartoons. "Yeah, I am," replied Katsuki. "And I am going with Gran Torino. Doubt you heard of him since I never did." Apparently he was busy investigating people the government would rather pretend didn't exist. "And I'm Katsuki Bakugo?" To Katsuki's surprise, the boy smiled wider, if that was even possible. "Looks like we are going to the same place then. All Might offered me to intern with him to deal with it troublesome quirk awakening I got," Toon-Face said with sweat drop. "Huh, a quirk awakening? Like cheeks?" "What?" Did you somehow awaken some bullshit super strength while your quirk had nothing to do with that before? Asked Katsuki with sarcasm. The silence between them was the answer to the ash blonde. Oh, for F's sake. You did? Deadpan Katsuki and Toon-Face laughed nervously. Is everyone gonna just start awakening bullshit levels of super strength? What's your main quirk anyways? That got Toon-Face to beam. It's called permeation, allows me to become intangible, allowing me to travel through solid walls and the ground while allowing enemy attacks to go through me, answered Toon-Face with optimism. Katsuki will have admit. A very useful quirk. And if he actually got super strength, God help whoever is stupid to pick a fight with someone who can't be harmed and can pack quite a punch. I'll admit useful. Must have been praised a lot for that. And people sucking up to you, said Katsuki. But to his surprise, Toon-Face winced again. Actually, as a child, I often lagged behind with my quirk. It was hard to control and I failed the first year sports festival for it, but after training with Sir Knight I improved greatly. Toon-Face said cheerfully. Isn't that All Might's former sidekick? No wonder he decided to give you some advice. Katsuki scoffed. So how do you use your quirk? By activating my quirk, I can slide through the ground, then reposition and deactivate it to be pulled out of the ground at another location. And well, I can phase through attacks too, explained Mirio. What about you? How do you use your quirk? It's explosions, right? I sweat nitroglycerin throughout my body, and can ignite it from my palms to create explosions from the strength of a firecracker to a rocket launcher, explained Katsuki. But a recent quirk awakening allows me to let the nitroglycerin travel through my glands and build up for greater firepower. Cool. My super strength is way uncontrollable. I tried to use and I broke my arm. Too much power really. And it created insane wind pressure as well. Toon-Face said and Katsuki frowned. Well, when I use the new aspect of my quirk, let's say it hurts like hell having ignited sweat going through your glands. Hell, it hurts like a beach. But I never let that stop me, shrugged Katsuki. Yeah, when I becomes intangible, my clothes slide through me, leaving me naked. I needed a specifically made suit for that to not happen. And while completely intangible, I can no longer see, hear, or breathe and can only feel a sensation of falling because I still have mass. Toon-Face said sheepishly. Katsuki blinked. How the hell did he even learn how to use that quirk? It sounds like bullshit impossible to use. The two stayed chatting to pass the time, and every time the quirk awakening was brought up, Toon-Face would get nervous. Something is fishy here, but Katsuki wasn't in the mood to give a shit. Katsuki sighed as he walked down the street with Mirio, the two of them looking at the address they were given by All Might. Are we sure this is the right place, Bakugo-kun? It looks. Sweat dropped Mirio as he stared in front of him. The hell is this place? Growled Katsuki as he looked at the address. Katsuki and Mirio were in front of a dilapidated building. This place could use some redecorating or renovating to be precise, laughed Mirio, and Katsuki scowled. The building looked like a single focus blast from his quirk could easily destroy it. I better have not gotten a prank address or some bones will be broken, growled Katsuki as he kicked open the door. Be more respectful, Bakugo-kun, chastised Mirio. Yo. I'm here for my internship with All Might's teacher. Be more respectful, the mentor is an elder. Mirio scolded. The first thing they saw when Katsuki kicked open the door was an old man lying on the ground with what seemed to be blood splatter. I ain't touching that shit, grumbled Katsuki as he deadpanned. Mirio was busy panicking in his place. He is dead, yelled Mirio frantically. I'm alive, shouted Gran Torino as he lifted up his face before dusting himself off, eyeing the two newcomers. Man, I was carrying these sausage links with ketchup poured over them, but then I fell. Who are you? Katsuki Bakugo, the winner of the sports festival, barked Katsuki, grinning widely. And get a decorator and renovator, you old shit, this place is begging to be destroyed. And I'm Mirio Togata. Nice to meet ya, All Might's mentor. Hope you can get us some good old training here. Mirio greeted with a salute and chuckled while Katsuki groaned. What? Asked Gran Torino, cupping his ear to Katsuki and Mirio. I said I'm Katsuki Bakugo from Iida, ya deaf shit, glared Katsuki. Who are you? Asked Gran Torino again before plopping down on the floor with a smile. I want some food. Are we sure he is sane? Mirio asked with a sweat drop. I'll kill you for this prank, All Might, roared Katsuki, explosions popping out of his hands, intent on blowing the number one hero. Shit, this was a waste of time. Even if he is the number one's teacher, he's too old. Maybe if I rush over to Best Genus Agency, I can still get something out of this. Katsuki turned while Mirio blinked. Where are our suitcases? asked Mirio confused. Not a bad set of costumes, noted Gran Torino as he opened Katsuki's hero suitcase then Mirio's. What the? Hey, that's mine, snapped Katsuki looking down at his hand where he had been holding onto it. When did that geezer even move? When did you steal that? Wondered Mirio out loud. Put on the suit and fight me you first, Spoldy. Hey Toon Face, wait outside, stated Gran Torino with a much serious tone now before looking at Mirio. Who are you again? K. Mirio walked off the door and closed it behind him. F off before I really murder you, shouted Katsuki in anger. What the F is the deal with this old fart? I don't have time for games, you old shit. I'm leaving and going to see if I can still get into Best Jeanists or Hawks agencies. I'm not going to stick around babysitting an old man. Katsuki stomped forward, closing his hero suitcase and was ready to leave when... In that case, said Gran Torino seriously. Katsuki's eyes opened when he heard the ominous tone, followed by a deep breath, then... Wow. Crush. Katsuki looked up to see Gran Torino right above the entrance door, his hands gripping deeply into the plaster without a care with a malicious grin. Then you really should put on that costume and ready to fight me, you newbie. You got stubbornness and talent, and All Might thinks you can go further with my help. But from what I see, you're very far from being even close to All Might. All Might is called the symbol of peace and the #1 hero for a reason, but that justice-obsessed All Might is worse than a novice when it comes to teaching. Anyone could do better than him, scoffed the old hero. Katsuki couldn't help but grin. He completely underestimated just how spry this old man was. Now that he thought about it, he had a tendency to underestimate those who looked old, didn't he? Not to mention that the way this geezer used newbie in his sentence. It was the exact same way All Might had done while teaching them. Meaning that All Might definitely had learned from him. Katsuki quickly changed into his hero costume, ready to show the old shit what he was made of. Come on you old shit, I'll beat you to death, taunted Katsuki but narrowing his eyes in preparation. Good grief, you like to talk a lot? Sighed Gran Torino, taking a deep breath before suddenly disappearing in front of Katsuki's eyes. Katsuki could hear something bouncing off the walls all around him when... I'm already losing my patience, shouted Gran Torino, kicking Katsuki from behind. Gran Torino raised an eyebrow when he noticed his kick hadn't been a solid impact. Katsuki still went flying but he quickly recovered with a blast, trying to grab Gran Torino. Before he could even get close though, Gran Torino was already gone. Katsuki whirled around, trying to get Gran Torino's location. It's like trying to track a rocket-powered ping-pong for F's sake, growled Katsuki internally as he got smacked in the head. Idiot, shouted Katsuki as he flung a chain of explosions, controlled ones and smelled to not level the building only to miss. Where are you aiming, brat? Cackled Gran Torino, bouncing off another wall. Shit. F, cursed Katsuki as he gave up trying to track Gran Torino's location, instead focusing on his reflexes. As soon he felt Gran Torino rushing towards him again from behind, Katsuki whirled around with a wild grin, his hand already up and crackling with explosions. Instinct and reaction, huh? Mused the old hero with a smirk. Just as the explosion seemed to hit Gran Torino, he swiped Katsuki's hand away, diverting the explosion into a wall. But you're still too green, shouted Gran Torino as he suddenly stuck his leg out, a gust of air suddenly coming off it to slow down his trajectory as his other hand grabbed Katsuki's head and slammed him down into the floor. I fought against people with faster reflexes than you. Though I'll admit you've got good reflexes and instinct to react to my attacks. But merely having such gifts will only take you so far. One can't always attack like a wild dog like you do. Gran Torino hopped off of Katsuki, grabbing his walking stick and walking towards the door. Get out of here now and think about it. Oh, and call Toon Face to come get his own fair share of his kicking. Katsuki stared up at the ceiling, blinking in for a bit before releasing a stream of curses. He stood up, stomped a door then let out a huge F-bomb. Hey Toon Face. Come get your own beating will ya? Ochako sighed as she exited the train and walked to the address. She picked the GPS and started navigating through the city looking for where to go. The supposed place was a 3-story building that was an apartment complex. Once she got close enough she looked in front of her to find an old run-down building. Well, this is Maruko, so no point in expecting anything fancy, not that Ochako minded. She was used to cheap things and low quality. Being poor does that to you. Hello? Called Ochako out warily as she stepped into the building. It's Ochako Uraraka from U.A. I'm here for my internship. The brunette narrowed her eyes at the calmness, it was too calm for her liking. An ambush. I'm really looking forward to dash. She stopped and crossed her arms in preparation and aimed them at her side. channeling her full power through her arms. A heavy force slammed into her side, launching her into a wall. It was too strong for her to block. "Your situational awareness is half decent," said Mirko with a raised brow. "How did you know I was attacking?" "Because she lived with Stain and Toga. That's how. They were sneaky bastards and very good at it." "Oh. Was that necessary?" whined Ochako, and Mirko smirked at her. "Relax, kid. I won't break you. Too much, that is. Now put on your costume and fight me," grinned Miruko as she gave Ochako a condescending look. Ochako narrowed her eyes. Was this woman looking down on her? Ochako grinned savagely as pink aura of competitiveness surrounded her, with her eyes turning bloodthirsty. "All right then, time to hunt some rabbits," declared Ochako. 2 minutes later she was in her hero costume, taking a stance in front of her smirking teacher. "Ready, you little?" taunted Miruko with a grin. "More than you old bunny," taunted Ochako with a scoff. She jumped on instinct thanks to Reflex Booster and activated Power Stockpile at 8%. Pink lightning exploded out of her body. "Who the F do you call old, you lil shit?" "I'm 23, yelled Mirko with a snarl. Ochako charged at the rabbit heroine with a kick in motion while punching her palm. The second Shisha was going to throw the kick, she touched her fist with her 5 fingers. "Then don't call me a..." Ochako sneered back. Mirko threw another fist kick just for Ochako to jump into the ceiling, then bounced into the side wall. She started bouncing between the wall like Deku advised her. Apparently All Might's old mentor used that as his fighting style, and it depends on speed and reflexes with well-aimed attacks. "Not gonna work on me," Mirko said as she threw a kick. It almost hit Ochako, but she flipped under it and kicked the woman in the face, but to Ochako's surprise it wasn't enough. "Not bad," smirked Miruko as she grabbed Ochako's leg and slammed her to the ground. "But you're 100 years too early to kick my ass, brat," taunted Miruko to get a punch to the gut, pushing her back. "But I'm still giving you nice bruises for a while," Ochako yelled as she threw another kick. 5 minutes later, Ochako was on the floor panting with some bruises and cuts on her body while Miruko was still standing. "Not bad. You are half as decent as my new sparring partner," said Miruko with a grin. Ochako could only wish whoever poor bastard that is best of lucks. Katsuki panted as day 2 of the internships rolled by. He was once more sparring against Gran Torino after making the geezer his damn breakfast of taiyaki. "What's wrong, brat? You haven't improved at all, just attacking whenever you get the chance," mocked Gran Torino. Katsuki could only growl, unable to provide a comeback, as any time he tried to, it left him open to an attack. Katsuki tried to follow Gran Torino by flying up with explosions, but his speed and control in the air paled in comparison with Gran Torino. "Come on boy, you'll be a punching bag if you don't do anything," laughed Gran Torino as he bounced around the room. "If this an open space, or if I was allowed to use all my explosion," muttered Katsuki, only to be hit with a kick to the head. "You're a hero in training. Learn to control your strength and adapt to your surroundings," scolded Gran Torino as he passed by Katsuki. It was here that Katsuki enacted his plan. Every hit, every dodge he managed to make, he had been subtly loosening his right shoe until it was loose enough. Just as Gran Torino aimed for his head once more, Katsuki fell right onto his back, his right leg now pointing up. "Die!" shouted Katsuki as his foot began to crackle. Gran Torino's eyes widened as he kicked the foot away, using it to bounce off as an explosion went off. However, thanks to the recoil from the explosion as well as the angle from being kicked, Katsuki flipped forward, his momentum carrying him forward as his hands reached for Gran Torino. "You're mine," grinned Katsuki as his hands finally grabbed Gran Torino by the shoulder. Before Katsuki could do anything though, Gran Torino uppercut him in the chin, rattling his brain and forcing him to let go. Gran Torino quickly took this time to step back to assess the damage, shrugging his shoulder for a bit. Katsuki had managed to let off a small explosion before Gran Torino punched him. "Not bad, brat," smiled Gran Torino as Katsuki tried to stand back up. "Perhaps you can do more than just attack like a mad dog. Katsuki will enjoy blowing this guy's brains out." "Yo. I came back with the groceries. Can I now get my own spar?" asked Mirio as he opened the door and entered to see Katsuki without shoes glaring at Gran Torino, who was grinning. "Ah, you're back. Good, now use your strength to teach Splody here some humility." "I will be eating some cookies in the meantime," smiled Gran Torino as he walked to the kitchen. "So, we spar?" Mirio offered as he put on his costume. "You bet," Katsuki declared as he used his new technique. He ignited the sweat in his feet to shoot himself at the ceiling but quickly positioned himself, then did it again. He was on a trajectory to the left wall ready to blow off of it. He held his feet in its direction to bounce off. Power. Mirio was already in Katsuki's face with his hair turned spikier and his body slightly bulked further, and his eyes glowing brightly. The third year threw a quick punch just for Katsuki to barely lean back while throwing an explosive punch. The blast was strong enough to push Mirio back. The recoil sent Katsuki to another wall. "I'll kick your ass this time, Toon Face," declared Katsuki with a grin. 1 minute later Katsuki was knocked out. Day 3. F. Cursed Katsuki as he was slammed against a wall. "Humph, I think that'll be enough," hummed Gran Torino as he rubbed his chin. "One more time," shouted Katsuki as he got up. "You said that 5 times, Bakugo-kun." Mirio. What? Then laughed more when Katsuki gave him the finger. "Okay, we're going to move on to phase 2 now, ready?" grinned Gran Torino. The two perked up. "Which means time to fight some real villains. Now go clean up, brats." "F yeah," grinned Katsuki as he quickly rushed over to the bathroom to clean up. Mirio just chuckled and followed his junior. He was as entertaining as he was energetic. As the two were cleaning up, Gran Torino looked around the room that he had rented for this internship. When he arrived, despite its shoddy look, the inside was rather clean. Now, there were cracks in the plaster everywhere as well as scorch marks. He was happy he got the brat and Toon Face a quirk gym few blocks away to practice their super moves. Because these two quite the destruction there, and it was destruction proof. Good thing this building was scheduled to be destroyed anyway, shrugged Gran Torino as he picked up his cane. "I'm ready," said Katsuki as he jumped out of the bathroom, already in his hero costume. Mirio was right behind him. "Are we going on patrol around here?" asked Mirio enthusiastically. "Not quite, you two," said Gran Torino as he motioned for them to follow him. "The decreasing population in this area has made crime rates here also quite low. The reason why hero agencies are more frequent in urban areas is that there's a lot of crime there. The higher the population density, the more trouble you'll find. Around Shibuya, you'll find lots of small fights that break out on a daily basis." "Awesome," grinned Katsuki, "finally to kick some ass." "You shouldn't be happy there is so many villains, Bakugo-kun," Mirio scolded. Shoto sighed as he finished up his lunch. Soba at his father's agency was mediocre at best, nothing compared to his sister's cooking. Honestly, he had debated on even coming to his father's agency since that interview. Katsuki was his friend and his shitty donor called him out on live television. That was unforgivable. However, as much Shoto disliked the man, Endeavor was the best hero suited to teach him the fire part of his quirk. Not only that, but his reaction time, speed, and experience was the real deal. After all, you don't become number 2 hero with being incompetent. As he placed his plate in the kitchen sink, the door slammed open to reveal Endeavor standing there. "Esivoto, declared Endeavor in a booming voice that hurt Shoto's ears. "Seriously, old man, pick a lower tone for quoting Katsuki F's sake and let him be at peace." "What is it, sensei?" asked Shoto looking indifferent. He won't give him the satisfaction of the word father. "Pack up, boy, we're heading to Hosu City," announced Endeavor in a booming voice. "Again, calm the F down." Shoto likes calmness. Katsuki is loud, but he was Shoto's friend, so he doesn't mind. "Any reason why we're heading there?" asked Shoto curiously. He could go look for Iida. He should text his class to inform them. He was like everyone else worried about the robot Night Boy. "Because according to my research, that is where we will find Stain. He has killed 9 heroes in the past 2 days, far more than usual," explained Endeavor with a frown. "Oh, and why are you hunting him when you have an unlicensed intern with you?" asked Shoto with a raised brow. "Because I will show you how truly dangerous the villains are out there, and with that, I will show you how top hero performs." "2 birds with 1 stone, rumbled Endeavor. Shoto sighed at that. "The boss at Mad Scientist, do you have eyes on Endeavor?" "Mad Scientist, yep. He is on the spot, my lord." "The boss, wonderful." "The boss, is the camera drone following him?" "Gentle hacker, yes my lord." "Small Might, contact me immediately if you lose Endeavor. I'll guide you back to our target." "Gentle hacker, K." "The boss at Posidone, are you ready for the show?" "Posidone, hell. Yes. Purge the fakes, it's gonna be a great day." "Burn Beach, yes. I can barely believe the day has come." "The boss, I always fulfill my promises at Burn Beach, always." "Vampire Queen, I testify." "Rockstar, I do as well." "The boss at Game Master, you and Vanguards take your positions." "Game Master, K." "The boss at Mad Scientist, prepare the Team Terror for the operation." "Mad Scientist, all right." "The boss, it's show time. The Nomus will commence in few minutes. At Uncligiri, warp the Nomus in 6 minutes to the planned locations along with everyone." "Uncligiri, yes young master." "The boss, no civilian casualties like usual." Only heroes. Gentle criminal, reassuring. The boss, time for work everyone. Let's initiate Phase 1. Phase 2 can be summarized as chaos. They need 10 or 20 minutes alone with Endeavor. Alone but in front of cameras, of course. This can't be achieved if there are some free and unoccupied heroes walking around the city. There are 3 main hero agencies within Hosu City. They all received nasty wake-up calls when Kurogiri warped to each of them, bringing first-generation Nomus with him. A high-end to each one of the 3 hero agencies. Each receives a single handler to make sure they don't cause too much damage or kill/maim someone. Those are Spinner, Magna and Hypnosis. Mustard is in another part of the city, where many patrolling heroes received a call for help on the appearance of a huge cyclone of purple mist that's knocking people out. And of course Mustard isn't making it lethal. Small concentration for knockout. In case there were civilians that couldn't run from the cyclone. In the meantime, Gentle and La Brava are warped to the headquarters of the Hosu Police Department and walk in without worries. Nobody tried to stop them as the building was rapidly vacated following a fire alarm merely a few minutes earlier, and besides they enter from the roof where Kurogiri warped them to. Dabi had personally ensured that the fire alarm is genuine by setting an actual fire that was visible from the street below before getting warped back to base. La Brava in the meantime connects to the police network to enter the security network of Hosu City. The little hacker created dozens of false alarms for heroes that weren't in the agencies when the attack started that hasn't went to Mustard. The chief of local police tried to contact the mayor, only to discover that phones in the entire city stopped working. Although even if they still worked, the mayor would be unable to answer due to the small EMP bomb, courtesy of a certain mad scientist, shutting down his building's power supply and keeping him trapped in his office. Within 15 minutes, the security in the entire city is thoroughly compromised. The eyes of the entire Japan began to turn towards Hosu. In his position on the rooftop in the highest building on house, Deku gave a quick heads up to Eraserhead and his parents to switch on the TV. The show is about to start. And he is about to hear the symphony as the unoccupied league members start their rampage. What Deku didn't plan for was a wild card on the form an old man, a bunch of teens and a ghost. Deku smiled as he stared down the city with a dark smile on his face. He raised his hand like the leader of an orchestra and started moving his hands. Play the opera music. In a part of the city, Reaper grinned as he put his hand on a large rundown building that was about to be destroyed anyways and activated decay. The amount of dust and debris is unbelievable. Nothing hit the civilians or hurt them, but the panic and fear was real. In another part, in a Detronat lifestyle factory, a certain vampire and Dabi just charged in, stabbing and burning MLA soldiers to their deaths. In another part of the city, Mr. Compress along with multiple twice clones are robbing multiple banks in the same time, and the magician is using his quirk to store the money in his pockets. A certain CRC church was being attacked by an army of demons courtesy of his beloved daughter Mahoro. No, his daughter was on clock now. Echidna was attacking a major CRC church with her army of beforehand-made monsters. Around 150 to be exact. All of them easily as strong as an upper tier in terms of strength and fully obedient to her. Fun fact about animation, she could give her creations abilities like quirks only limited by her imagination and vitality. So to say the CRC are done for wouldn't be accurate. Titan was by now breaking into an ISP base in his Nomu form ready to murder the 1 in 78 partyists. Nobody there is stronger than Biranx, so nothing his prize child couldn't handle. Deku would trust his children to storm the Prime Minister's building if he let them prepare, so he wasn't worried. His son in his Nomu form was as strong as a 70% Prime All Might with greater durability and super regeneration, so the partyists might as well kill themselves. Kota was stretching by now, readying himself for the big show, his first son and strongest of them. And apparently the most dedicated to his goal in the league besides Deku and Stain. In another part, Mustard is as stated before in the middle of his own cyclone, avoiding heroes and knocking said heroes out but of course not killing them. Razer and Stain are in a public place fighting a bunch of heroes that work for the HPSC president and making a slow but painful show of it, all of it already being broadcasted to attract Endeavor because everyone else is busy. The screams, the destruction and battle cries, the sounds of burning, the explosions, the bones breaking and flesh tearing. Deku smiled widely as he listened to the music of battle underneath him. The upper tiers were now causing havoc, wreaking and destroying government property and attacking heroes left and right. Everything is perfect. Now once Endeavor reaches Razer and Stain, things will go accordingly. In a bullet train to Shibuya that happened to pass by Hosu, Mirio and Katsuki sat there waiting to get to their destination. The former cheerfully with a smile and the latter impatiently with his legs shaking in boredom. "Brat, stop bouncing your leg," lectured Gran Torino looking annoyed. "Aren't we there yet?" huffed Katsuki. "By the time we get there, it'll be deep into the night already." "But that's the point of it, Bakugo-kun," Mirio said as he slapped Katsuki's back. "As he said, that means more skirmishes to fight, brat," shot back Gran Torino. Katsuki couldn't argue against that as he wanted more skirmishes to fight in. He was just afraid that by the time they got there, all the villains would decide to just turn in for sleep. "Hey, look at that. A building just exploded," shouted a passenger. "Really? Where?" asked one of the passengers with worry. Soon passengers were all crowding towards the window, curiosity overriding their sense of safety. "Passengers, please return your seats and safely sit still," announced the operator. Suddenly, the train began to brake, sending quite a few passengers tumbling forward into other seats. "What's going on?" Mirio yelled in surprise. "The hell? Why'd we stop?" barked Katsuki. Their questions was answered a second later when a pro-hero crashed right through the train, landing painfully inside. "What's with that dash?" started the hero, only to be crushed into the floor by a large hand. The passengers were soon greeted with a strange monstrosity with its brain open to the world as well as two eyes on both sides of its brain. "That's a Nomu," cursed Katsuki, ready to fight. "Lemillion, you are in charge," ordered Gran Torino as he quickly used his quirk to jet himself up, bouncing off the ceiling and above the passengers' heads before kicking the Nomu's head, forcing it to let go of the pro-hero it had hostage. Within the next second, Gran Torino had already bounced off another wall and crashed right into the Nomu, forcing it off the bullet train, crashing through the wall, and carrying that momentum all the way into another building. Katsuki quickly hopped over the passengers and looked out of the hole, his gaze quickly taking in the situation. There was smoke and fires in a huge part of the city, a huge purple cyclone of mist, and the sounds of screams and gunshots in another. The city looked like a war zone. Katsuki narrowed his eyes as he decided to follow his screams. Rescue over battle as All Might taught him. "Bakugo-kun, stay here," Mirio said, ready to leave the train. "No way I'm missing out on this," hissed Katsuki as he jumped off, using his quirk to create explosions to fly through the air towards the screams. "Bakugo-kun, wait. I am the one in charge," yelled Mirio as he used his quirk to phase through the floor and then pop off in the air following Katsuki. The two were heading to the danger, intent on helping and repelling the enemy. On the streets of Hosu, Gran Torino sent the Nomu crashing into another building, quickly jumping off to get a breather in. He winced as he felt a jolt of pain from a small burn he had gotten sparring with Katsuki. It wasn't anything serious, but he wasn't a young man anymore. The Nomu screamed in anger as it burst out of the building, sending debris flying towards innocent civilians. The passers-by screamed in fear as they quickly fled the scene. A woman fell down from the panic, her high heels tripping her over. As her boyfriend tried to protect her, Gran Torino charged in. "Oh no you don't," shouted Gran Torino as the Nomu was about to pounce on the couple, trying to jet to the Nomu. Seconds later, a stream of fire struck Nomu. "I was looking for the hero killer and his new girlfriend, but this guy's timing was bad," announced Endeavor as he stepped forward. "I do not know who you are, esteemed elder, but leave the rest to me." The couple started running off as they shouted their gratitude to Endeavor. At another location, several heroes were fighting against three Nomus with little luck. Explosions from vehicles were raising fire everywhere, giving the Nomus a chilling visage to the lookers. "Manuel, put out the fire," ordered a hero with bull horns as he ripped open a fire hydrant. "Why did you choose to go off at a time like this, Tenya?" muttered Manuel as he quickly took control of the water, using it to put out the fires. The bull hero quickly went to tackle one of the Nomus, only to abort his charge to block another Nomu's attack. "What's with that power?" grunted the bullhorned hero before he was suddenly tossed against a building. Yui Kodai, otherwise known as Rule, had been helping evacuate civilians, providing support for the active heroes. Her internship had actually been with the two ninja heroes, hoping to learn how to throw stuff accurately. After all, her quirk was about manipulating the size, so knowing how to throw them on people then regrow them the original size would be an amazing technique. But she never, when she chose to intern here, imagined she would see a Nomu again like those on TV, and this time three of them at once. Yui was helping the fly get up and trying to pull him to safety when one of the Nomus grabbed a vehicle and threw it at her. "The fly. Rule," shouted one of her mentors in horror. Yui looked up, her eyes widening in shock and fear as the vehicle came closer. Her mentors were trying to move, but there was no way they would be able to save them. The light from her eyes seemed to dim as she accepted she was going to die here. While she enjoyed her time at U.A, her classmates were nice to her and her teacher was kind. She had the chance to try and reach her dream. But she never did. Just as the car seemed to hit them, she heard it. The shout of died and a fast blur that passed by her, and the fly then blew the vehicle to small bits in an amazing display of orange sparks and flames. The force of the explosion pushed her back, but the person that saved her caught her in midair from the wrist. She was pulled and held her in place. "Poker face, you alright?" asked a voice as Yui tried to blink to see just who had saved her. At first, a warm and strong chest greeted her sense before she looked, seeing a familiar red eyes and spiky blonde hair looking down on her with concern. "Bakugo?" whispered Yui in shock and awe. Katsuki nodded his head slightly, putting her down as he turned around, facing one of the Nomu that was screeching in anger at its kill being denied. It charged towards Katsuki quickly, ready to pounce on the two. Katsuki prepared himself as Yui clutched his shirt when, "Power!" a voice roared with anger. The Nomu was hit by Lemillion, who popped off the ground and punched the Nomu in the face, sending it flying backwards with shocking and impressive speed. As another Nomu began to teeter forward, Katsuki held his right palm forward, sweat traveling through his glands and igniting. It hurt like a beach, but he didn't give a shit as he grit his teeth and unleashed a concentrated explosion on the monster. Devil Blast. A powerful yet concentrated explosion shot out of Katsuki's palm on the form of an orange blast that created a strong whirling shockwave that sent the Nomu flying backwards. It was blown to small and burned to a crisp. Devil Blast is one of his super moves. It focuses on putting the power, building it up and then unleashing all at once forward. The heat is also incredible, so that explains how the Nomu was burned. "Did Tenya Iida in turn with you?" A tall moron with stupid silver armor that looked like a robot knight? Katsuki asked quickly, remembering this is Hosu. Cheek said the moron was with this guy for F's sake, so where is he? "Huh. Oh yeah, he's an intern at my agency. However, he seems to have disappeared on me." "Damn it, where are you?" gritted Manuel as he shifted to another fire building up. "That dumb Sunava Beach, if he dies I'll blow his sarias up to hell and back to class." Katsuki swore. "Hey Toon Face." "I heard," yelled Mirio as he punched a Nomu with so much strength it created a small shockwave. "As Gran Torino State I am in charge. So you can go find your friend but avoid combat if possible." Mirio knew he won't, but he was confident in the power of his junior. Katsuki scoffed and nodded before looking at Manuel. Where the F was he before disappearing? After getting a little more details from where Manuel and Tenya had been a few minutes ago, Katsuki rushed in that general direction, using his explosions to cross the distance quickly. "Rule, are you alright?" asked her mentor, rushing over to her. Yeah, I'm alright," blushed Yui. What she didn't want to mention was that she was already missing the warmth and safety of Katsuki's chest, as well as his power. I wish he would come back so I can cuddle against that warmth." "What am I thinking? Do I? No. Not time for this. People are in danger," Yui thought with a blush as she slapped herself. "There." Sweat dropped her mentor as Yui slapped her own face with too much strength. Ochako looked at her cell phone with worry. She had received the text from Katsuki detailing his current location, but no message about why. She had a feeling it was an SOS signal for help, and in-house no less. Hopefully her lord doesn't hurt her friends by accident. "Desma. Please be merciful," prayed Ochako with a frown. "Come on, Uravity. Stop looking at your phone and get Urashir." "Don't waste time dallying," shouted Maruko. "Coming," shouted Ochako back while shoving her phone into her utility belt clip. "Good, now let's see whose we can kick," grinned Maruko. Itsuka had managed to somehow land an internship with Maruko, the number 7 hero in Japan. Maruko was famous for not having an agency nor teaming up with anyone, saying that heroes who joined teams were cowards who had to rely on others to beat the villain rather than using their own strength. Which was a surprise she offered an internship. Then again, in Ochako's mind, perhaps an internship wasn't rather teaming up, but guiding someone. And to be honest, Maruko was kind of her idol, just as All Might was to Izuku in the past. The strongest top female of Japan offering her an intern? She'd be a fool to refuse. "Hey Maruko?" asked Ochako as she caught up with her, looking curious. "I'm kinda curious. Why did you send me an offer?" "Just felt like it," shrugged Maruko. "Saw your fight in the sports festival and thought you'd be pretty strong. Especially your first fight against the copycat. And I was impressed with the Nitro Brat too. He has guts and doesn't take shit from anyone." "Katsuki-kun?" questioned Ochako, looking surprised. Is that why sent him an offer?" Yeah, I did, mostly to hear him cuss Endeavor like a drunk sailor. But I guess he had thousands to pick, so he didn't come to me," mused Maruko. "He only had 12, deadpanned Ochako. causing Miruko to stumble for a second. Wait, really? How? Oh, right, that interview with Endeavor. Damn, the boy must have dissed him hard. I should have asked for a recording, damn it, exclaimed Miruko, bopping her hand into her palm. Whatever, let's finish up patrol and head back home later. Another fact about Miruko was that she didn't rent an office space for her work but instead chose to work from home. Though considering how efficient she was, she could afford it. Gran Torino and the others watched the Nomu that Endeavor had incinerated stand back up on all fours, panting in pain. They quickly jumped back when it started to release flames similar to Endeavor, who already theorized that it was an absorb and release sort of quirk. Endeavor was a little shocked when he heard Gran Torino warn that it had multiple quirks, but it didn't matter. To him, such an insignificant pest wouldn't even be a hassle. Before Endeavor could deal with it as Nomu tried to pounce on him, Gran Torino zipped past him, breaking through Nomu's desperate attack before quickly changing directions, rushing right at Nomu before crushing it underneath his feet, causing the pavement underneath it to crack. I cracked the road. It's been a while, so my control's not that great, grumbled Gran Torino to himself. Ha, you're not bad, honored elder, huffed Endeavor as he extinguished the flame on his hand. The duo heard another explosion before looking over to the distance, where the glow of a fire could be seen. Endeavor frowned as he noted that despite the amount of heroes that should be there, they still hadn't been able to handle it. As Gran Torino suggested that they all head over there, Endeavor hummed at that but was interrupted as a blast of light shot between the two of them, causing them to split. Wait. Endeavor weak, said a Nomu that was flying in the air with what seemed like jets for a quirk on its back. What did you say? Called out Endeavor as he shot in the air with flames in its fist, intent on roasting the Nomu. Hey, wait, yelled Gran Torino, but Endeavor ignored him. The Nomu unfortunately was warped away. Damn it, yelled Endeavor. Let's go assist Endeavor. Gran Torino shouted and Endeavor nodded his head. Back at the major area with Lemillion and a few other heroes, they were struggling to deal with 4 Nomus now. Luckily, they to subdue one of them, the one that Katsuki had destroyed. But they still had 3 more to contend with. Some of them tried to attack one of them as one while the rest distracted the other, only for it to smash the ground, creating a cloud of dust and rubble to hide it. Manuel himself quickly looked around trying to find it, only to see in horror as the Nomu was already behind one of his fellow heroes with its arm already raised, ready to pulverize the heroine into the ground. He shouted the warning, knowing it would be too late for her to do anything, when Endeavor suddenly appeared, punching the Nomu. Endeavor had aimed for the ribs, but the Nomu was apparently intelligent enough to quickly raise its other arm to defend itself. But with Endeavor's build, along with his quirk, the Nomu was still sent flying away. Before the Nomu could react after regenerating its burnt arm, Endeavor had already clasped his fingers on its head. There has to be a certain limit it can regenerate. I wonder how long it can last under the heat of my flames, smirked Endeavor mentally as he began to burn the Nomu's head, his flames easily changing from orange to blue, signifying he was raising up the temperature to inhuman limits. He only stopped when he felt the Nomu's head burn off, along with its arm falling down to its side. Carbonized cells cannot regenerate, smirked Endeavor before another hero called out for Endeavor, pointing to the Nomu flying away while carrying a hostage. Endeavor immediately took in the situation, noting a blonde boy with super strength and intangibility dealing with another Nomu before barking orders, assigning a few heroes to head over to another location to assist, before launching himself towards the escaping Nomu. Yui was one of the ones who went with the others as her mentors told her it would most likely be safer there than helping out with the Nomu. Dealing with the flying Nomu wasn't hard, and after putting the still sobbing hostage down, he picked her up and jumped to the side to avoid another light blast. Fight me, Endeavor. The high-end Nomu yelled at Endeavor. Endeavor scowled before he launched himself at the flying Nomu, chasing after it through the city. What he didn't know was that he was flying to a literal trap. And to his end. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through What If Deku Became the Villain Emperor. I hope you found it as intriguing and thought-provoking as we did. A big shout-out to DekuVerse for crafting such a compelling story. Don't forget to check out their profile on Archive of Our Own for more amazing works. The link is in the description below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to What If Deku 2.0 for more fascinating explorations into the world of fanfiction and fantasy. Your support helps us create more content like this, and we're always excited to hear your thoughts and suggestions in the comments section. See you guys in the next video.